and political activism and supporting groups like Hamas. Comes as the White House announces it's freezing more than $2 billion in federal funding to Harvard after the university refuses to make changes to its student and DEI policies. It is 64 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says we'll see a big change today in the weather. The high barely making it to 70 degrees today. Strong breezes as well. Tonight's low will get back into the mid-40s. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Well, Atlanta-based Delta ranks high on the latest list of the best airlines in the U.S. Delta coming in at number 3 on the Wallet Hub survey, number 1 for most reliable for its lowest rate of cancellations, delays, and mishandled luggage. Spirit Airlines comes in at number 1 on the list, SkyWest number 2. Wallet Hub says it's based on 14 key metrics, including safety, cost, and in-flight comfort. And from planes to cars, after pausing many of the across-the-board tariffs on imports for now, President Trump hints he may do the same to help U.S. automakers.
I'm looking at something to help some of the car companies. They need a little bit of time.
And he says that duty-free time would be used to bring production back to the U.S. from countries like Canada and Mexico, but industry insiders say supply chains have become so international it is virtually impossible to build a vehicle exclusively in the U.S. Uber opening a waiting list today for riders wanting to try out driverless Waymo vehicles ahead of a planned summer launch right here in Atlanta.
The service area for the autonomous vehicles will be limited to 65 square miles of Atlanta initially, covering primarily downtown, midtown, and Buckhead. Some on the wait list may be invited to participate in test rides in advance of the summer launch. Waymo vehicles are already operating in Austin, Texas, where they now represent 20% of Uber's rides. Waymo's service will only be available through the Uber app in Atlanta. The rival service Lyft is partnering with the Toyota-backed startup May Mobility and hopes to offer that driverless option soon. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Well, as the tariff talk continues in Washington, the head of the Atlanta Federal Bank emphasizes a wait-and-see approach.
During a moderated discussion, Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic said officials need to wait for more clarity on President Donald Trump's policies and said he feels moving too boldly with policy in either direction would not be a good idea at the moment. He said the Fed still has a ways to go to reach its 2% inflation target and said tariffs are likely to stretch out the timeline for reaching that goal, as he has said before. I'm Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti for 95.5 WSB.
And alert to grocery shoppers and diners everywhere. It is packing day for Georgia's Vidalia onion growers. Georgia Ag Commissioner Tyler Harper calls it one of the state's unique treasures.
It's only grown in the great state of Georgia, and it's been grown here since the 1930s, and it's definitely something we're really proud of.
Each year, growers pack about 10,000 acres of Vidalias, totaling about 200 million pounds of the onions being shipped across the world. This year's crop overcame Hurricane Helene and a 6-inch winter snow right during growing season. It's 9:03. The Mark Arum Show begins in less than 2 minutes. The first live team coverage of traffic and weather. And we start with triple team traffic. Smiling Mark McKay.
All right, Judd, the downtown connector all stacked up still. 166 Langford Parkway trying to clear I-20, putting the pressure on the ride into East Atlanta. 20 westbound, slow leaving Flat Shoals, Gresham. West Side Perimeter has yet to recover. I'm watching slow traffic leaving I-20, trying to work up toward the high I-75 Truist Park Battery region. 400 still as a crowd out of Alpharetta, beginning at Old Milton Parkway down to Hulkenbridge Road in Roswell. I-85 still a bit of a struggle out of Gwinnett County. Ashley Frasca.
It is filled up. You're still looking at just over 30 minutes on 85 south from 316 getting to 285. They may be setting up that road work on Highway 316 westbound at Sugarloaf Parkway. And look out for an outbound crash at Stone Mountain Park. Car off the road on the left shoulder. 78 eastbound at Stone Mountain Park. Triple team traffic. 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, breezy and cooler as a cold front moves through. Highs in the upper 60s, low 70s, lows tonight in the mid 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 71. Sunny skies on Thursday, highs in the mid 70s.
63 degrees right now in Mountain Park, 63 in Austell, 64 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:05. More news at 9:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Judd Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome, friends. Tuesday edition of the Mark Arum Show, jam-packed with a ton of information. We have more tariff news, the ping-pong battle that are the tariffs continues to garner headlines. We're going to go to the White House. Karen Travers is going to join us with the very latest on more tariffs, a tariff pause, a tariff exemption, and what that means to the markets. Dow futures down just a little bit, not a big thing right now. We'll, of course, monitor the markets for you all day long. The big news yesterday was the president of El Salvador meeting with President Trump at the White House, and still major questions regarding the court case of that deportee in El Salvador. Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum is going to join us live at 11:05. And how about this? Clark Howard, I hope you're listening. Apparently now it's cool to be frugal. We'll get an update from correspondent Rory O'Neill. But first and foremost, I didn't even mention the top of the show yesterday, but another 2 for Tuesday. Haha. Deborah Green, we have 2 amazing prize packs to give away. One we're going to give away in about 15 minutes, around 9:22-ish. What are we giving away today, buddy? This is so exciting.
Yeah, this is really cool. Yacht Rock Review is going to be at Ameris Amphitheater next Saturday, so we'll get you tickets to see them. It's one of the first outdoor concerts of the season, so very special. But we're also going to do an in-house WSB Live Lounge performance with Yacht Rock Review. Very limited, exclusive. You're going to be talking to the band, and we'll get people on that guest list as well.
I'm so excited. So we're going to give away a pair of tickets in about 15 minutes, and then again at 11:35. One of the coolest prize packs we have ever given away here on 95.5 WSB. Very excited about that. And then next week, the Bonus Blitz is back. So we are the station that just keeps on giving. I want to go to the White House because, again, this is the story that took all the oxygen out of the news cycle yesterday. It was President Trump hosting the El Salvadorian president. And obviously, the big headline is what to do with that man that is now in El Salvador. And the Supreme Court said, hey, you should help facilitate him to get back to the United States. Elena Trina at the White House moments ago. Still a lot of questions surrounding this case, Elena.
Well, I think what next is a question we'll see actually play out today when Trump administration attorneys are going to be back in front of that same judge who initially made that court ruling that ultimately found its way to the Supreme Court. I think, it's going to be a key question of whether or not this ends up getting caught up back in the courts because of what the Trump administration is saying here. And look, John, I mean, this is something we've really seen this White House, this administration inch closer to over several days now, essentially arguing that the judge in this case, the Maryland judge, had overstepped her bounds and that they could not be told by a court, and in this case even the Supreme Court, how to move forward with this, that they cannot be forced to return this man to the United States from El Salvador, but also this idea that the court should not be getting involved in foreign policy set forth by this administration. Now, what was made very clear yesterday in the Oval Office is that both President Donald Trump, but also El Salvador, have no plans of returning Abrego Garcia to the United States. If you watched that Oval Office scene yesterday, the White House essentially argued that they didn't have the power to do so, and that the power was now in the hands of El Salvador because Abrego Garcia was already deported there and is in that prison there. We heard from Bukele as well, President Bukele of El Salvador, saying that why would he do that, essentially arguing that to return or facilitate this return of Abrego Garcia to the United States would almost be like smuggling him in to the country. So all of this, of course, creating really huge questions because, as you pointed out, John, the Supreme Court had ruled that the Trump administration must facilitate the return of this Maryland man to the United States. We heard Attorney General Pam Bondi say yesterday that they believe that term facilitate means providing a plane to do so. Now, one thing, though, that I think is very notable from what happened over yesterday, but is somehow getting lost sometimes in some of this coverage of this, is what else the president had said. Essentially, he had said that he wants to ramp up deportations of not only undocumented migrants who are in this country illegally, those who maybe allegedly committed violent crimes, but also potentially deport U.S. citizens to El Salvador as well. Listen to how he put it.
We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country.
So as you heard the president say there, he'd like to include them in the group of people that are leaving this country, referring to, again, in his words, homegrown criminals aka U.S. citizens. Of course, there are many legal questions of whether the Trump administration could even do that. But President Donald Trump said yesterday he was going to direct Attorney General Pam Bondi to look into it. Bottom line here, John, this strategy we've seen this White House, this administration really use in recent days, particularly when it comes to deporting migrants to El Salvador, is something they are not planning on backing away from. When I spoke directly with Stephen Miller yesterday, the Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy, also someone who, of course, has really been shaping the immigration policy of this administration, he told me they have no upper limit. That's a quote from him in his words for how many people they plan to deport to El Salvador.
Elena Trian at the White House earlier this morning. Obviously, we're going to be watching that again back in court today. Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum is going to join us live at 11 o'clock. Get his take on the status of the court system and that deportee. And what else President Trump had to say said yesterday about possibly deporting U.S. citizens, the really bad ones, to that El Salvadorian prison. So we'll continue to monitor that situation. Unrelated to this, my morning routine, especially getting ready for the show, is a lot of it is social media based, right? If you follow me on any of the social medias, I will post before the show what's coming up on the show. I do it on Facebook and Instagram and Threads, all of them owned by Meta, Mark Zuckerberg's Meta. So you would think that because I use these all the time, I'd be hyper aware that Meta is facing a big court appearance this week. Joining us live from ABC News covering technology is our buddy Mike Dobuski. Mike, good morning, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, Mark. How are you?
I guess I've been so wrapped up in the tariffs and the deportations, that news cycle. I didn't even realize that Meta is under scrutiny this week in the D.C. courts. What can you tell us about this?
Yeah, that's right. And perhaps no surprise, given that this is a story that actually starts about 5 years ago. Under the first Trump administration, there was a challenge to Meta's dominance, according to the government, in the social media space. Major antitrust challenge. Under the Biden administration, this was handed off to the FTC. And now it has gone to court in Washington, D.C., as you say. At the core of this case is Facebook's acquisition of Instagram in 2012 and WhatsApp in 2014. The FTC says that this company broke the law when it did that. It did not make those acquisitions to better its technology or to become more competitive. Rather, it did it to squash out competition in the social media space. And the FTC says that's a violation of the 1890 Sherman Antitrust Act. That states that it's illegal to maintain a monopoly by using anti-competitive practices, things like buying up worthy competitors just to take them off the board.
Now, just playing devil's advocate here, Mike, Meta doesn't own Twitter or X, right? It doesn't own TikTok, which has been in the news. It doesn't own Blue Sky. I mean, there are a ton of other social media apps out there that are not under the Meta umbrella. Will that be their argument, saying, hey, yeah, we've got a couple of big ones, but there's still a ton of other social media outlets out there?
Right. And that is exactly the argument that Meta is making. They say that the government is essentially punishing them for being successful here. They argue that they made these acquisitions because they were smart business decisions. It allowed them to better compete in an increasingly crowded social media market. They specifically call out how Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp compete with TikTok, which is owned by a Chinese parent company, YouTube, which is owned by Google, X, which is owned by Elon Musk, iMessage, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and many others. They also say that the federal regulators approved both of these acquisitions back when they happened more than a decade ago, which means that according to Meta, the commission's action here in the case sends the message that no deal is ever truly final if the government can just step in and unwind it whenever they want to. But the FTC, for its part, hinges on market definition, right? What is the market that these companies are competing within? For their part, there are only two competitors to Facebook, or to Meta in this case. They say it's Snapchat and a company called MeWe, which describes itself as a privacy-first social media network that has over 20 million users worldwide. By defining the market this way, the FTC is making the claim that Meta owns nearly 80% of active users in the market. But Meta, as we've said, says that that market definition is way too narrow. It's a lot more broad and includes a lot more companies.
ABC technology reporter Mike Dubusky joining us on the Mark Arum Show. As you mentioned, Mike, this case goes back to the first Trump administration, went through the Biden administration, and now in the second Trump term. But we kind of saw a big about face prior to the inauguration for President Trump in his second term, right after the election, where Silicon Valley kind of did a 180, and they went and bent the knee at Mar-a-Lago and made contributions to the inaugural fund, trying to, obviously cozy up to President Trump in the second administration. Did that fail? Did that effort fail, knowing that this court case is still going forward?
I think we don't really know the answer to that question just yet. You're right to say that there's been an about face in Silicon Valley with relation to the Trump administrations. The two, Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Meta, and Donald Trump, the president, have had a very contentious relationship in recent years. As we said, this case actually started under the first Trump administration, and in the lead up to the 2020 election, Donald Trump even threatened to throw Mark Zuckerberg in jail if his platforms contributed to an election loss. Now, of course, that didn't happen, but more recently, Mark Zuckerberg has been making overtures to the Trump administration. He donated $1 million to Donald Trump's inauguration fund, and he has also rolled back policies on his social media platforms that conservatives have criticized. Most notably, earlier this year, he eliminated fact checkers from his company. So will that play a role in this case going forward over the next several weeks? Will that incentivize President Trump to maybe ask the FTC to go a little softer or to accept a settlement from Meta, which they say they are open to? These are all questions at the core of this case. For what it's worth, the judge in this case is James Boasberg, who is a familiar name to people who follow the Trump administration. Yeah, it just so happens that he's the guy. He says that the government has a pretty steep hill to climb here in making this argument. For one, they have to parse out the intentions of tech executives from over a decade ago, which is difficult. And also, it was a very different environment back then. And they also have to get into the hypothetical, right? They have to prove that a world where Facebook didn't buy Instagram and WhatsApp is a better world for consumers. But that's not the world we live in. That timeline did not come to pass. And therefore, it's really difficult to prove in court. It's going to be really interesting to watch over the next few
Final
years.
question for you, Mike. I'm sorry. Do we expect this to be a prolonged court battle, or do you think this will be done in a rapid rate?
It's a good question. We think this is going to be 6 to 7 weeks at trial, and then after that there will be a sort of, obviously if Judge Boasberg sides with the government here, there will be, a trial to ascertain what remedies are in store. The FTC, for its part, says that they want to force Meta to spin off Instagram and WhatsApp. They want to break up the company. That's the only remedy to this situation. And if that happens, you can imagine it's radically going to reshape Meta, which takes in billions of dollars from those companies. But it would also flip a lot of conventional wisdom in Silicon Valley on its head, right? Yeah. Generally speaking, if you own a startup, you're not trying to compete with Meta or Google or Apple or Tesla. They're just too big. You want to make a tiny startup that gets bought up by those big guys to the tune of many billions of dollars. But if the government is coming in now and breaking up tech companies, you can imagine that calculus is going to change.
The Silicon Valley dream. They're getting bought by a bigger company. Mike Dubusky, ABC. Mike, as always, great insight. Thanks for your time, my friend.
Of course, Mark. Take care.
All right. Coming up after a quick break, Deborah's going to give away that amazing prize pack of tickets for Yacht Rock Review. And, man, another innocent person killed as a result of a high-speed police chase here in Metro Atlanta. We'll dive into that story next. But first, we have a travel advisory. Straight to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, Mike Shields.
A day-long roadwork setting up in Lawrenceville, leaving only the left lane open and delays quickly building, Mark, on Highway 316 westbound getting past Sugarloaf Parkway. Think about using the Highway 29 or Highway 120 Duluth Highway as alternates. Once you get past that, now onto I-85, bumper to bumper still from 316 down to 285. 475 in North Fulton, Cobb County is improving, but still sluggish getting to the perimeter. This report is brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Catch up the Spring and Bloom event at Whole Foods Market with savings for Easter and beyond. Save on no antibiotics ever meat, spring produce, and more through April 22nd. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
Hey, Taxman got you down?
How about a $1,000 pickup?
Win $1,000. 5 different keywords. 5 chances every weekday.
I just won $1,000 on WSB.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Beginning Monday, April 21st.
Download the WSB app.
Thank you.
Rules and info at WSBRadio.com/cash.
Window shopping can be shocking. Typical replacement windows are big, bulky vinyl windows that lose their efficiency over time. Not what you want for your home.
That's why at North Georgia Replacement Windows, we don't offer those. We only carry the best. Infinity from Marvin fiberglass windows.
Experience the Infinity from Marvin fiberglass difference at your home or in our new Alpharetta showroom.
Visit us at ngwindows.com.
Infinity from Marvin, replacement windows, yeah!
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in will work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
Can you take the power of your home internet almost anywhere? With Xfinity, you can. Hey, it's Mark Arum here. Xfinity built a network that's 99.99% reliable. Plus, Xfinity Mobile has Wi-Fi Power Boost, giving you ultra-fast Wi-Fi at home and on the go. Whatever you're into, you'll love how fast you can do with Xfinity Internet and mobile together. Now through April 17th, get 300 megabit Xfinity Internet and 1 unlimited mobile line together for $30 a month for 1 year with no annual contract. And save $1,000 in your first year over Verizon and AT&T. Plus, ask how to get a free premium 5G phone. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Equipment taxes, fees extra after promo. Regular rates apply. Actual speeds vary. Savings compared to Verizon 5G Internet plus 1 unlimited mobile welcome line and AT&T Internet 300 plus 1 unlimited starter SL line. Xfinity Internet required. Reduced speeds after 30 gigabits of usage per line. Data thresholds and actual savings vary.
We've all got one, and there's never just one thing on it. Your home improvement to-do list. Trust the Plus. Painting Plus. The Plus covers everything on your list. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and of course, painting.
Hi, I'm Charlie, the owner of Painting Plus. We do it all, and we do it right. Trust the Plus family of businesses for everything on your list.
If your home's exterior has it, the Plus can improve it. Painting Plus. Siding, gutters, windows, decks, porches, roofing, and more. Trust the Plus. PaintingPlus.com.
Hey, it's Belinda, and April showers brought me mosquitoes, and thankfully, Arrow Exterminators came to the rescue with their environmentally friendly and effective treatments. Family owned and operated for over 61 years, Arrow Exterminators offers a 100% customer satisfaction guarantee and free pest inspections for your home or office. Take back your yard this spring. Call 888-GO-ARROW or visit arrowexterminators.com, and don't forget to tell them Belinda sent you.
Had it not been for Mr. Branch Rickey, this thing couldn't have come about. He had a much more difficult role than I had, and I like to give him credit for the role that he played in helping us and guiding us through our career.
That's the legend Jackie Robinson. 78 years ago today, Jackie became the first African-American big league baseball player in modern history when he started at first base for the Brooklyn Dodgers. April 15th became known as Jackie Robinson Day back in 2024. And Jackie Robinson's number 42 now, retired across all of baseball, which means we're going to do, in honor of Jackie and Jackie Robinson Day, we're going to do the 42nd caller to 404-872-0750. 42nd caller to 404-872-0750 will win what, Deborah Green?
You will win a pair of tickets to check out Yacht Rock Review at the private WSB Live Lounge performance coming up Monday, April 21st. And you'll also get a pair of tickets to see Yacht Rock Review at Ameris Bank Amphitheater on Saturday, April 26th.
By far one of the coolest things we've ever given away. Concert at Ameris Bank and then the Live Lounge. It seats like 40 people, right, Deborah? I mean, this is tiny.
Yeah, and 39 of them are staff.
Yeah, very intimate. So we're giving away the 42nd caller to Lil Gnocchi at 404-872-0750, 404-872-0750. And we're going to get, if you miss out this one, we're going to give them away again at 11:35. So you have another chance to win one of the coolest prizes in WSB radio history. Local story. I can't believe this happened again, Deborah.
Another car chase ends tragically. The State Patrol tried to stop a speeding car on I-20. A chase ensued that ended up in a crash in Little Five Points. The driver went through a red light, hit another car. The driver of that car ended up dying from their injuries on the scene, while the fleeing driver was taken to Grady Memorial with serious injuries.
Yeah, that really busy intersection in Little Five Points there. Second time in a week in Atlanta. First one was Buckhead, right? We talked about the guy that held up the Chick-fil-A and then escaped, high-speed police chase, ended in a fatal crash. Peachtree Piedmont, big intersection at Buckhead. And now that big intersection in Little Five Points. Just two innocent people just doing whatever they're doing during the day, and they lose their lives because of these criminals trying to get away from the police. Unbelievable. I don't know what can be done about it. I know there was a time there where police jurisdictions suspended their police chase policies. I don't know if that's something that needs to be revisited in the city of Atlanta. But 2 innocent deaths in a week it's too much. It's too much. Thoughts and prayers to the family of both of the victims there. The first one in Buckhead and the latest one there in Little Five Points. Just an awful, awful local story. All right, Judd standing by with news, weather, and traffic. The markets are going to open amidst new tariff news. We're going to get you caught up to date on that new tariff news. Karen Travers is going to join us at the White House after news, weather, and traffic. Social medias, speaking of Meta, always active during the show, at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
Men, trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
Is your heating and cooling system so old you can't remember when it was installed? If so, It's time to get protection from Reliable Heating and Air. Hey, friends, it's Mark Aram. Check this out. Let Reliable Heating and Air protect your AC from breakdowns and your budget. Just $14.99 a month. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. No deductibles, no claims or paperwork, no service fees, just coverage for your aging AC and heating systems. Get all the information you need online at reliableair.com.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's 9:30. I'm Jed Hickenbotham. Our top story this half hour. School safety remains top of mind around Metro Atlanta following last year's deadly school shooting at Appalachia High School in Winder. Now we watch today's expected vote by the Decatur City School Board on major security upgrades there.
The City Schools of Decatur School Board has 2 new security plans on Tuesday's consent agenda. Together, they're in the neighborhood of $275,000 and highlight weapons detection, featuring dozens of new campus-wide cameras at Decatur High School. There are also gated and mobile weapons detection systems with a consideration for installing them at main and bus entrances at various campuses. Earlier discussions proposed hiring several school resource officers. It's not clear yet whether the new budget includes that funding. Veronica Waters, 95.5 WSB.
64 degrees in Midtown Atlanta. WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards says we could feel breezes today as strong as 30 miles an hour. High won't get much above 70 degrees today. Tonight's low getting back into the mid-40s. Atlanta's most accurate and dependable forecast is coming up. Well, it's been in the works for more than a year now. Now, Sandy Springs City Council members consider a traffic safety action plan tonight.
A federally funded study reveals the streets of Sandy Springs have been the site of over 250 serious or deadly crashes in the last 5 years, including some major problem areas.
State Route 400 at Northridge, I-285 at Roswell Road, Abernathy at Roswell Road.
The city's Kristen Westcott tells Channel 2 Action News the plan includes a variety of measures to make things safer for drivers, bikers, and pedestrians, but the public also plays a role.
I hope that people will take a moment to just think about their own driving behaviors, because a lot of our behaviors lead to crashes.
The plan will be presented to the council at tonight's 6 o'clock meeting. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Speaking of road safety, Uber opening a wait list today for riders wanting to request driverless Waymo vehicles ahead of their Atlanta release this summer. Some of that list will be selected for test rides to gather user feedback. Uber not revealing the size of the initial Atlanta fleet of driverless cars, but following a recent launch in Austin, Texas, vehicles in that market now make up 20% of the rides, mostly positive reviews there. U.S. News & World Report ranks Atlanta among the cities with the highest number of quality senior living communities.
The publication notes that Atlanta has 31 of the nation's best senior living communities in the country. U.S. News says the ratings are based on a national survey of senior living residents and their family members, gauging satisfaction with various aspects of senior living.
Bloomberg's Gina Cervetti says those aspects include community safety, activities, staff members, and food. And Pfizer hits a big setback as it looks to bring the first weight loss pill to the market to rival all those weight loss injections.
The company's once daily GLP-1 pill is now officially scrapped, but Pfizer saying that while disappointed, we remain committed to evaluating and advancing promising programs in an effort to bring innovative new medicines to patients.
Lionel Moise reports a development of the pill was halted after a study patient developed a liver injury that might have been caused by the drug. No timeline yet for when it might hit store shelves. Could be a while. It's 9:33 as we check your money, and after Monday's booming start on Wall Street, it's looking good so far this morning. The Dow is up more than 70 points, NASDAQ's up 50, and the S&P is up about 18 points as the bell rings. Now live team coverage of traffic and weather. Start at the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Mike Shields.
And Judd, new crash in Woodstock, 575 southbound at Town Lake Parkway. Moved to the left shoulder. We're going to see if they block the left lane at times with that, so watch out for some delays through Woodstock and try to get into Kennesaw. And delays quickly forming out of Lawrenceville with right lane roadwork set up. Highway 316 right at Sugarloaf Parkway, already on and off the brakes as you leave Duluth Highway. You can use Duluth Highway or Highway 29 as alternates. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A cold front passing through today, so a mix of sun and clouds, breezy and cooler through the afternoon. Highs in the upper 60s, low 70s. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Lows tonight in the mid-40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 71. Sunny skies on Thursday, highs in the mid-70s.
62 degrees in Woodstock, 64 in Jonesboro, 64 degrees in Midtown Atlanta at 9:34. More news at 10. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Jed Hickenbotham, 95.5 WSB.
The the news of the day through the eyes of Eric Von Hessler.
It's the only way to do any kind of reform of the federal government.
If it's on your mind, it's on his.
I don't remember.
Eric Von Hessler. Today at 3.
Who are you speaking for?
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
I can tell you this, Mr. President. No, the foreign policy of the United States is conducted by the President of the United States, not by a court.
Secretary of
And
State
no
Marco Rubio not mincing words. Will continue to update the court battle about the deportee. Opening bell on Wall Street. New tariff news. What's that new tariff news? We'll go to the White House next on the Mark Arum Show.
I love Wise Guys Pro Wash. Now is the perfect time to pressure wash your home for spring. Clean away all the pollen and grime. Mention me, Chris Chandler, and get $70 off your next service. But hurry, spots are filling up fast. Visit wiseguysprowash.com.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell & Cordell, a partner you can count on.
404-793-0000, 1 Glen Lake Parkway Northeast, Atlanta.
Attention men, are you suffering from ED or PE? Here's an important message from Choice Men's Health.
I'm Dr. Katz and I'm the Chief Medical Director at Choice Men's Health. Are you performing the way you want to in the bedroom? If the answer is no and you've tried Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra and were disappointed, then you need to come see us immediately. If you don't see results on the first visit, then there's no charge. Many of our patients have medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and prostate problems. I'm happy to say that we have 98% success rate with all our patients. Our customized solutions will allow you to perform within 10 minutes and last an hour and even longer. You can regain your love life and tackle your ED and PE problems. Guys, your partner will never complain again. Our clinic has the most affordable prices, so if you visit other clinics and you're not completely satisfied, then you need to call Choice Men's Health.
Regain your love life regardless of your age or medical history. Choice Men's Health guarantees results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call now, 404-400-1170. That's 404-400-1170.
Playing a game with your family? Fun! Playing a game with your roof, you'll lose every time. Dave Baker here with the perfect match for your roof. Findlay Roofing, the roof guys. They're the extra effort experts with upfront pricing, exceptional service, and they'll treat your home like it's their own. Win, win, win. And with Findlay, manners matter. Findlay also has 0% financing available. Get your free roof analysis at FindlayRoofing.com.
Roof.
9:37 on this terrific Tuesday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew at your beck and call till noon. Big congrats to John in Kennesaw. Won that amazing Yacht Rock Review prize pack, Ameris Bank Amphitheater show, WSB Live Lounge show. We have another pair of tickets to give away coming up in 2 hours here on the Mark Arum Show. The only place you can win this amazing prize pack, Yacht Rock Review. You get tickets to the Ameris Bank Amphitheater concert, and you get tickets to the private performance here in the WSB Live Lounge. We're going to go to the White House in just a second, updating new tariff news. But whatever that new tariff news is, Wall Street seems to like it. Markets just opened. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all up a smidge, but we're starting off in the green, which is always a good sign. All right, what about those tariffs? Joining us from the White House, ABC News correspondent, White House correspondent Karen Travers. Karen, the ping-pong battle of tariffs continue. President Trump hinting that there might be more tariffs on the horizon. What do we know this Tuesday morning?
Yeah, so the president yesterday had indicated more tariffs are coming. He had over the weekend, we knew, and we talked about this, that there was this temporary exemption for smartphones, computers, and some electronics so that they were not going to be hit with that very steep 145% tariff that had been put on products coming in from China. The White House has not said how long that exemption is going to last. It is likely going to be at least a couple weeks because they are looking to do tariffs now on semiconductors. And the president said that those tariffs on electronics will now, those products will just be shifted under the semiconductor category because he's been very insistent that he's not giving anybody exemptions or exceptions. Yesterday he said, I'm a very flexible person. I don't change my mind. And he, I think, has not liked the framing of this, of giving a reprieve to any companies or easing up on the tariffs on China. But the other thing we learned last night is that the administration is laying the groundwork to cite national security as a reason to put tariffs on imported pharmaceuticals, and that's going to be their reason to put the tariffs on semiconductors, the computer chips. And this could have a big impact on Americans and the prices they pay for things, especially on the pharmaceuticals, because ingredients for many medicines are made overseas and then brought here to this country. And experts are saying that that could raise the prices on things like ibuprofen, for example. But the president, of course, is looking to try to shift manufacturing here, make those things here, and then you won't be hit with the tariffs.
How does national security become a factor in those two markets?
Supply chains is what they like to say, especially when it comes to the semiconductors, first of like trying to rely on China for things like that go into cars, computers, and all of our electronics. But it's really a big issue on supply chains that if we were ever in a significant standoff with countries, you don't want to be reliant on a country that you're at odds with for the things that you need the most. And so that's likely what they're going to point to. We don't have the details of what this review is going to look like. They posted a notice that this is something that they are starting right now, sort of an investigation into how this would work and what they would classify these tariffs as under a national security umbrella. But it's just the beginning of the process at this point.
Karen Travers from ABC joining us on the Mark Arum Show. Karen, obviously, I'm not in the West Wing. I'm not behind closed doors. But just from what I've witnessed over the last few weeks when it comes to tariffs, it seems like the administration's calling a lot of audibles, right? This entire playbook wasn't scripted from day one that, and then on this day, we'll do tariffs on semiconductors and pharmaceuticals. It seems like it's a very free-flowing policy.
It certainly feels like it. And if they were to say that it's not, well, there doesn't seem to be a pattern to it at this point. The president yesterday, the line was quite very Trumpy, saying, I'm a very flexible person, but I don't change my mind, but I'm flexible. And he said he doesn't want to hurt anybody, but at the same time, that this is a significant policy for him and that this ultimately will pay off in the long run. And, that's been another part of this, too, is that the president has said that this will pay off even if there are, quote, transition costs, as he put it last week, acknowledging that Americans are likely to see an impact in the near term. But in terms of the overall kind of day-by-day planning, it certainly feels like there have been reactionary moves. Right now they're negotiating with dozens and dozens of countries. They say it's over 100 at this point. But the really serious negotiations are with about 10 to 12 countries, and the White House feels like they could get potential trade deals with those. But you and I have talked about this. Things don't come about very quickly. Trade deals take months, if not years, and the fact that they're trying to do it in 90 days while those big tariffs are on pause is really quite complex.
Yeah, the timeline is going to be truncated for sure. Big news at the White House yesterday was the visit from the president of El Salvador. Anything we should be looking for at the White House today?
I think there will be more questions for the president. It doesn't look like on the schedule we're going to get a chance to ask him things, but the president yesterday still insisting about the issue with the man from Maryland who is now currently being held in a prison in El Salvador. He had said over the weekend that the Supreme Court said, he has to bring him back, that he would abide by that. He's now walked that back, saying that there's nothing he can do, that this is up to El Salvador. The president of El Salvador had said yesterday that he couldn't return him to the United States. He called the question preposterous. So there's a lot of, not us who should be doing this question right now, and we're going to see how that plays out today.
Karen Travers, ABC News. Karen, as always, appreciate your time.
Have a great day. Thanks.
Wall Street not spooked by the threat of new tariffs. The Dow's up almost 200 points right now to 40,722. NASDAQ almost up 100. S&P up 30. Hopefully the markets will stay in the green and continue to go up, up, up on this tax day. For the rest of the country, except for the southeastern states, they have that reprieve till May 1st. By the way, if you missed that, yesterday we had a great interview with Sanjay Gehi from Brass Tax Accounting about what that deadline movement means to us here in Georgia when it comes to our refunds, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If you missed that, check out the podcast. Again, the filing date now for Georgians because of the hurricanes here is May 1st. So you have until May 1st, unless you need to file an extension. That needs to be done today, but no need to sweat it today as far as the taxes are concerned. All right, this is a big news regarding tariffs. China ordered airlines to halt deliveries of Boeing planes and purchases of aircraft components according to Bloomberg, in retaliation for President Trump's tariffs. The move puts around 10 737 MAX jets in limbo and further weakens Boeing in China, where most orders go to its European rival Airbus. Earlier, Ryanair and Delta Airlines warned they may delay orders of aircraft if tariffs drive up costs. So China's saying halt deliveries of Boeing planes because of the tariff news. So that might not impact you and me, but if you are a Boeing manufacturer or subcontractor, that could be an impactful thing if 10 Boeing jets are no longer going to China. Speaking of China, China's been reportedly, I mentioned those Boeing jets. Let's go to Anna Corin. She is the CBS News correspondent in Hong Kong with that.
It's a critical trip. It's his first trip for the year. It was planned several weeks ago, but obviously of much greater importance since this trade war escalated. I mean, President Xi is there to, shore up trade partnerships and strengthen these alliances with countries in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, so she was talking about the Chinese president meeting with his Asian counterparts. He's doing a trip right now, to try to shore up relations there. President Trump said Xi Jinping's visit to Southeast Asia was intended to, quote, screw America. China's leader trying to woo victims of Mr. Trump's reciprocal tariffs during a 5-day tour of the region. On Monday, he arrived in Hanoi, Vietnam's capital, and signed 45 agreements with the country, including on rail links. So as the big listen, there's tariffs for every nation right now, a flat 10% tariff, but the big tariff battle continues to be between the U.S. and China. China wasting no time trying to say, all right, if we can't sell our ish to the United States, where else can we sell it? So the president of China is embarking on a tour right now of the Asian counterparts to make sure everything is good. Speaking of the tariffs, a lot of folks starting to stockpile items in front of the tariffs, Deborah.
Check Longoria's pantry. People are stockpiling items just like they did during COVID. Data shows that 76% of stockpilers have loaded up on non-perishable foods and toilet paper. Other hoarders are keeping things like medical supplies, personal care items, water filtration systems, firearms, and ammunition. Gen Zers are focusing on things like clothing and electronics. And along with the hoarding, shoppers are looking for cheaper alternatives too. Tariffs have consumers ditching their brand loyalty for something way more economical.
I could see that. I can see that if you are brand loyal to something. Let's just say, like I'm brand loyal to Chunky Soup. You ever had Chunky Soup, Vinny?
No.
The canned soup, Chunky? The commercials
Is
are on
it
the
actually
NFL.
chunky?
Yeah, you've never seen a Chunky Soup commercial during the NFL games?
I don't want that. I don't think that sounds good.
Yoki, have you ever heard of Chunky Soup before? Have you ever had Chunky Soup? Maybe it's maybe not a generational thing, but an ethnic thing. Are you?
You said Chunky Soup?
That's what I'm saying.
No.
Oh my god.
What? Oh my gosh, you kids.
Wow. All
What
right.
are you eating?
Bad.
Is that like vegetable soup?
Yes.
Campbell's Chunky Soup, the big
Oh,
can.
I mean, yeah, I've heard. You got to be more.
No? Wow. All right, I'm going to give you a different example. All right, let's say are you familiar with Jif peanut butter? Is that all right? Yeah.
There we go.
All right. So let's say
That's the only way to go.
All right. You're brand loyal then to Jif peanut butter. Yoki's like, I'm a Jif guy. But with the economic uncertainty and the tariffs, and you're trying to save money, maybe you go, all right, I'm not going to get the Jif brand peanut butter. I'm going to get the Kroger brand of peanut butter. No, you say no.
That's like me with ketchup. It's always Heinz.
Got to do Heinz. All right. So bad examples, Deborah, of the Gen Zers. They're going to stay brand loyal. But as far as stockpiling, I've only stockpiled the deodorant. I got a case of my favorite deodorant. And I should do it anyway. Just get it, and so I don't have to worry about ordering it again for the next 4 years or something. But I've not stockpiled it. Was I in an Uber the other day, and the driver was asking me about tariffs and what he should do to prevent, and I said, honestly, unless you wanted to go buy a new car or a computer or some sort of electronics, I really don't think there's much you should do right now. I mean, if you need a new laptop, yeah, probably now is the time to do it, or a new big screen TV, or a new phone. But I don't think there's a need to stockpile stuff right now, except deodorant. And maybe you want to stockpile that Jif peanut butter. And, I guarantee tomorrow I'm bringing in chunky soup, Deborah, for the gang.
You have to.
Yeah.
I can't believe you guys have never eaten chunky
that's
soup before.
unbelievable. I need to know more about that. After we check traffic, I know you need to know more about that. Live to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center. Here's Mike Shields.
And Mark, watching a crash in and out of the left lane in Woodstock, 575 southbound, getting past Town Lake Parkway. Use caution there. Not worth a wide way around it just yet. And delays on the east side perimeter due to a stalled van that's been impacting the left lane. 285 northbound, the outer loop getting past Covington Highway, exit 43. This report is brought to you by Georgia Commute Options. With Georgia Commute Options, you can get more out of every mile, earn prizes, gift cards, and cool deals when you search from driving alone to a cleaner trip. More at mygco.com. I'm Mike Shields, 95.5 WSB.
When traffic hits.
I-75 completely shut down north and south between McDonough and Locust Grove.
The Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Brake lights fill in on 316 westbound at Sugarloaf Parkway.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Heavy police fire department activity.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, it's Scott Slade for FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, and your current roof has started to show its age, then now's the perfect time to check out FGA Roofing for the latest in architectural shingles, timberland shingles, and more. Slate, tile, wood shake, cedar roofs, FGA has them all. FGA Roofing offers 0% financing for 12 months with your good credit. Get the roof you want now and pay over time. Click firstgaroof.com. That's firstgaroof.com.
For many women in our community, support for our physical and mental health feels out of reach.
When your workday is long.
And your budget is tight.
And your village is busy.
And the road between home and help is a 6-lane highway with no crosswalk.
Northside Hospital believes women deserve better.
Northside is rolling up our sleeves and getting to work.
We got your house call.
Heard.
Learn more at northside.com/heard.
Clean the spring pollen and allergens out of your home the easy way with the Zero-Res Air Duct Experts. Mention me, Chris Chandler, and get 50% off your next air duct cleaning. Just use promo code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZeroResAtlanta.com.
Have you ever had a bad experience getting repair work done on your European car? You need to get to know Wolf Pen Auto Repair at Roswell for honest estimates with honest pricing by factory certified techs for work on your Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, Audi, or BMW. Search Wolf Pen Auto Repair and see the difference.
Beaver Direct Certified, providing the highest quality vehicles at the very best prices. Every vehicle undergoes rigorous reconditioning with the industry-leading 12-month, 12,000-mile certified warranty. Visit us at beavertoyotacumming.com and see why everyone loves Beaver Direct.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. When garage doors break, they usually don't break all at once. They don't just up and die. They die slowly. Garage doors complain a bit before they crap out. Squeaking and sticking and shaking and grinding. They go down part way and then stop and go back up for no reason. But they hardly ever just end up dead with no symptoms and no long goodbye. If you ignored the signs, that dead door is on you. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our 19-point seasonal maintenance check makes sure everything's healthy. Oil the chain, check the rollers, realign the tracks, talk to you about how things are going, and look into any symptoms that might have you worried. Catch problems early, and your garage doors should be around to play with the grandkids. And talk about the old days, when all this was just farmland.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
Hey, Wise Guys Pro Wash just cleaned my house, and I am obsessed. Now everything looks so fresh and clean for spring. My house, my driveway, my deck, they did it all. So don't wait. Mention me, Chris Chandler, for $70 off your next service. Book now at wiseguysprowash.com.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular and get your second month free for a limited time. You'll get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month. Here's Veronica and Jackie, real customers.
I didn't know that I could get something for a lot less money that was actually better than who I was with before.
Anytime anybody complains about their cell phone bill, we say, you've got to check out Consumer Cellular.
And now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free when they use promo code SECONDFREE. Just call, click, or bring us your bill and see how much you can save. Because when it comes to Big Wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and use code SECONDFREE to get a free second month. Real people paid to share their opinions in this ad. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Recognize that theme song, Game of Thrones. Happy 28th birthday, Arya Stark, Deborah. Arya Stark turns 28 years old today. Was she like 9 when that show started?
I think so.
Yeah, I was very uncomfortable in the series finale because little Arya was involved in an intimate scene. I was like, that's little Arya. She's too young, but she turns 28 years old today. I'm still stunned that the Gen Zers have never had Campbell's Chunky Soup. I'm assuming you've all had Peeps. Have you had the marshmallow Peeps before?
The little ducks.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
the little ducks. Love them or hate them. AP's Mike Hempen reports that Peeps are inescapable around the Easter holiday.
It's the great Easter basket question: to peep or not peep? Millions are made daily by Just Born Quality Confections in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Caitlin Servian is the company's brand manager.
We make 5.5 million peeps every single day, which is approximately 2 billion peeps per year, enough to circle the earth not just one time, but 2 times.
Peeps is Just Born's most recognizable brand and one of a handful of candies that evoke strong reactions, good and bad.
We think that Peeps have become such a cultural icon because they've been passed down through generations. Families that have put them in Easter baskets or received them in their Easter baskets are then passing them down to their children and family and friends.
Servian says there are many ways to include Peeps in celebrations. People have been known to use them in recipes and even artwork. I'm Mike Hempen.
I don't understand the Peep hatred. Like, some people hate Peeps as much as they hate candy corn. Now, I don't think I've ever purchased Peeps, but if they're in the newsroom, I'm going to eat a Peep. I have no problem with that. Deborah, do you incorporate Peeps into your Easter and Feaster celebrations?
Definitely not. Peeps are disgusting. Right up
Really?
there with candy corn. Yeah, awful. Worst candy ever.
Is that sacrilegious to say? I mean, because it's such an Easter staple.
It's not a cute little fluffy bunny rabbit.
The
it's
little
a chicken.
the little ducks, as Vinny called them. The little. All right. So don't get Deborah Peeps for Easter.
No.
I don't love them, but it's a little sugar bomb. It's a little soft Easter sugar bomb. If they're out there, I'm going to eat them for sure. Anyway, happy Easter. What's does every day have something before Easter, Deborah? Is it so?
What do
Good
you
Friday
mean?
is this Friday?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's Holy Week. So, like, Holy Thursday, right? Good Friday, Holy Saturday, and then Easter Sunday.
All right, holy. So, do you need to take off any of these days? I mean, because feel free to take off whatever you need to take off.
I will be here. I'll be here all week.
Oh, Deborah Green. She's a champion. All right, so that Peeps factory was in Pennsylvania. Coming up after news, weather, and traffic, we're going to go up to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. The story we talked about yesterday, that arson attack against the governor's mansion, really scary stuff. Getting more information about the suspect in that, we're going to go up to Harrisburg and check that out. And speaking of trying to save money in these uncertain economic times, is it now cool to be frugal? We got some new statistics in, and it sounds like people are kind of bragging when they save money and not being so audacious in their purchases. We'll check in on that story. Social medias are always active throughout the broadcast at Mark Arum and at WSB Radio.
This is Scott Slade. Let's talk about how to improve your chances of living a longer, healthier life. For me, it's preventive medicine. My doctor saw one funky number in my lab work that eventually led to a diagnosis early enough so I still had options. You just got to have a medical professional looking at you every so often, especially when we're talking about heart disease, the nation's #1 killer. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. They've got the best CT imaging in the Southeast with 98% accuracy and low radiation, like flying in an airplane. They can detect calcium levels in your arteries of most cancers at the earliest stage. And virtual imaging can scan your brain to see if you're in danger of a tumor, stroke, or even dementia. So don't put this off, especially with this offer from virtual imaging. For a limited time, they're offering you and your spouse a free heart scan. Yes, free with a few minimum requirements. I've done it. Call 404-678-SCAN. That's 404-678-SCAN. or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSB BFM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
When your termite bond renewal comes in the mail, do you cringe wondering, how much more are they going to charge me now? I want you to switch your termite protection to Breda Pest Management, and your termite rate is locked in for 10 years. Hey friends, it's Mark here. When was the last time you actually saw your current service inspect your home for termite damage? Let me guess, they just walk around outside and check the bait stations. Well, it's the termites inside that could be eating your home. Feel safe with Breda's early detection process using advanced technology. They'll inspect inside and out, giving you total peace of mind that your home is termite-free. Termites, the most destructive bug of all, but Breda is so confident they guarantee your protection, and only Breda will lock in your termite rate for 10 years. Breda Pest Management, they handle bugs and critters like termites. BREDA Pest.com.
Breda, Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news is sponsored by Dr. Roof. Well, there could be a lot of talk on college campuses here in our state today. An Atlanta attorney is expected to add more students to a lawsuit challenging the Trump administration's canceling of their visas.
Some 40 additional international students at Georgia's colleges and universities will be included in today's amended court filing. Immigration attorney Charles Cook says no campus is unaffected.
Every school you can think of in Georgia, the big five and lots of little ones, private schools like Mercer, UGA, Georgia Tech.
We don't know exactly how many students in Georgia have been affected by the order, but Cook says the number will continue to change. His suit asks a judge to allow the students to get their status back. A judge will hear the case on Thursday morning. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
And of course, we will be watching. All right, your weather for today, partly cloudy, breezy, cooling down just a little bit with a high near 70. Some of those winds could be gusting up to 30 miles an hour. In Sandy Springs, city leaders want to make driving there safer. They are going to be unveiling a new safety action plan for Sandy Springs tonight to make the roads safer in the city. The study is paid for by the federal grant from the Department of Transportation, and it pinpoints where most accidents happen in Sandy Springs. The city's Kristen Westcott telling Channel 2 Action News where they are.
State Route 400 at Northridge, I-285 at Roswell Road, Abernathy at Roswell Road.
And again, the plan will be presented tonight at 6 o'clock at the City Council meeting. In-flight Wi-Fi on American Airlines will be free starting next year. American deciding to make the service free starting in January after JetBlue, Delta, and most recently United Airlines did the same. The complimentary service, sponsored by AT&T, will be available for members of American Airlines Loyalty Program. It is the first of its kind clinical trial. The FDA approves a clinical trial that would test whether pig livers could be used to treat liver failure in people. Now, researchers are trying to see if livers from a gene-edited pig could treat people with sudden liver failure by temporarily filtering their blood so that their own organ can rest and perhaps heal. The study expected to get underway this spring. An estimated 35,000 people here in the United States are hospitalized every year with their livers suddenly failing. This is new this morning. A new report says the late actor Gene Hackman's property was infested with rats.
Maintenance workers found the bodies of Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa in their Santa Fe home in February.
I think we just found one deceased person inside a house.
Hackman died of heart disease and severe Alzheimer's. Arakawa died of hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, which is contracted through exposure to rodent droppings. Now, a New Mexico Health Department report says dead and living rats and rodent feces were found in the couple's garages, cars, casitas, and sheds, but not in their primary residence.
And that's correspondent Michael Wallace reporting. Emergency rooms at Northeast Georgia Medical Center and their urgent care locations will now be monitored for wait times, so you can log on and see how long the wait is at various locations. The wait time tracker covers 5 emergency rooms and 11 urgent care locations. Let's take a look at the markets. We're in the green this morning. The Dow's up 159 at 40,683. NASDAQ is also up more than 0.5%, and so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca's in the WSB 24-hour traffic center. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabrina. They're setting up those construction zones around Metro Atlanta, already causing a slowdown. They've got the barrels out in the right lane on the west side perimeter, 285 southbound. past Cascade Road. You're on and off the brakes traveling below I-20, and they're also in the right lane, Highway 316 West at Sugarloaf. Big delays begin there before Riverside Parkway, and stop and go on the downtown connector. No construction, just volume on 7585 northbound beginning before University Avenue. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, breezy and cooler as a cold front moves through. Highs in the upper 60s, low 70s, lows tonight in the mid 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 71. Sunny skies on Thursday, highs in the mid 70s.
63 degrees right now in Duluth, at 62 in Johns Creek and Woodstock. We'll have more news at 10:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
Welcome back to the show and a good Tuesday morning to you. Mark Aram here, you there. It's 10:04, 4 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is the Mark Aram Show, live Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to noon on 95.5 WSB. Extended family with us today. Deborah, the executive producer of the show. Vinny Drip on the other side of the takeout window. And Lil Gnocchi screens your calls. Coming up in 1 hour, the big story about the El Salvadorian deportation case. Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum's going to join us live in 1 hour. In 90 minutes, Deborah's got another amazing prize pack to give away. A pair of tickets to see Yacht Rock Review at Ameris Bank Amphitheater, and a pair of tickets to see Yacht Rock Review here at the WSB Live Lounge next Monday. Private performance. I'll be there emceeing, and we'll do a Q&A. It's going to be fantastic. So your next chance to win that coming up at 11:35. Markets all in the green. Good news there. Dow's up $1.72. NASDAQ up just under 100, and crypto's up $700. So congrats to all the crypto bros out there. In just a couple of minutes, why it's now cool to be frugal. But I want to update a story we were talking about yesterday, that arson attack at the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania. Crazy situation. Covering the story for CNN's Danny Freeman in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. A lot of serious questions concerning security around that governor's mansion, Danny.
Oh, certainly a tremendous amount of questions surrounding security, John. But what's so fascinating about the story is, amazingly, we actually have a really good picture and idea of exactly how police believe this suspect set fire to the governor's mansion. Part of it is because so much of it was captured on video. But, John, the biggest outstanding question still at this point is motive. What drove him to actually walk to the governor's residence and set fire to the mansion? But let's go over what we do know at this point. 38-year-old Cody Balmer, as you noted, was officially arraigned yesterday here in Harrisburg as he went into that small judge's office and was taken out of that state police squad car. He stuck his tongue out at reporters as though he was bored, and that was as dozens of reporters shouted questions at him, including, "Why do you hate Governor Josh Shapiro so much?" He didn't answer any questions, but we did get some interesting content from that arraignment. The judge, as you noted, denied bail because she said, while she was appreciative that he ultimately turned himself in, she said that ultimately he should be in prison because he presented danger for the safety of himself and the community. Now, notably, when Balmer inside of that courtroom was asked if he had a history of mental illness, Balmer said, "That's the rumor, but no, ma'am." Now, remember, John, all these charges that he's facing include attempted homicide, terrorism charges as well. Then there's aggravated arson and aggravated assault. Now, when it comes to the fire itself, John, we know from court documents yesterday, Balmer hopped the fence behind me. He was carrying makeshift Molotov cocktails with beer bottles filled with gasoline. That's how he lit fire to the mansion. And he also said in court documents that he was planning to beat Governor Shapiro with a hammer if he found him. But again, amazingly, motive. What brought this man to this house? Still an outstanding question. Take a listen to what the Dauphin County District Attorney told CNN last night.
But we're getting a picture of what his intentions were, and that they were geared towards the governor. We're looking at it because we want to know why he did it, and we're looking at the possibility that it was geared towards the governor's his religion and his views on Israel.
Now, John, I will note that a source familiar with the investigation at this point still says there's no indication that anti-Semitism did play a role in this particular incident. But again, everyone is looking at all aspects as to why this man came here. Balmer's next court appearance, John, is next Wednesday.
Danny Freeman on CNN earlier this morning in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. That was my initial reaction when I saw the story. I was like, oh, Jewish governor. anti-Semitism was the motive. And that listen, that's going to be my knee-jerk reaction. But we don't know if that's clear or not. Maybe he was just, it was totally politically motivated. But again, the big question is, how did the security around that governor's mansion allow that to happen? Now, I'm familiar with the Georgia governor's mansion here on Paces Ferry in Buckhead, and I can't imagine anyone getting by that security post with the Georgia State Patrol there and being able to, throw Molotov cocktails at the governor's mansion. So there's going to be a lot of questions about motive and a lot of questions about how that suspect was able to access that and do serious damage to the governor's mansion in Pennsylvania. Any updates on that story, we will bring them to you live here on WSB. All right, joining us now on the show, correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, Clark Howard's been waiting decades for this headline. It is now cool to be frugal.
Are we calling Clark cool? Boy, that's a stretch. But there is this new survey out, though, that finds that, 61% say it's less tacky if you are a frugal person. I think more and more of us accepting that, look, times are a little bit tough right now. If you're struggling to make ends meet, it's totally understandable that you didn't watch this season of White Lotus because you turned off Max, or you can't go out Friday night because, well, look, it's just not in the budget right now. So there's a realization, especially among younger people, that being frugal isn't the worst thing in the world.
Now, is this just because of the uncertain economic times and high inflation, or is this just a lifestyle change that we might be developing here in America?
Yeah, I think this seems to be more lifestyle driven and certainly generationally driven. These attitudes are really pervasive among younger people. In the survey, they did ask Gen Xers and baby boomers who actually would rather talk to their coworkers and colleagues about their digestive issues than talk about money. The reverse is to the other side. But by the way, folks, I don't want to hear about your digestive issues, coworkers, and we already know. We're in the next cubicle. We know.
There you go. It seems almost counterintuitive, Rory, that the younger generation is now saying it's cool to be frugal, because if you think of the social media influencers, like they're flexing the suite that they have in Las Vegas or the $500 steak dinner, but it seems like that might be something that's going away, and maybe you'll see those frugal flexes on social media now.
Yeah, and then we're watching all this stuff unfold at Coachella, right? And the crazy amounts of money that younger people spending for that experience. But that's where we also see that the younger generations tend to either they will pay for an experience or for premium products, but maybe they're cutting back on the rest of the stuff, still trying to figure out what their longer term spending habits are going to be. But I think it also just speaks to the fact that there are no barriers anymore, right? The old rule was you would never talk about money or politics or religion. Those were subjects to avoid. For the younger set, nothing is off limits.
Correspondent Rory O'Neill joining us on the Mark Arum Show. From being frugally cool to worrying about losing their jobs. Americans now scared of losing their jobs more than any time since the pandemic. What's behind that?
Yeah, so this is the monthly survey done by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. So this is an important data set because it measures consumer attitudes about the year ahead, the next 3 years, the next 5 years. And the Fed will use this data as they consider whether or not to raise and lower interest rates. So these are important numbers. They find that about 44% of Americans now believe that unemployment will be higher 1 year from today. And that's the highest we've seen that percentage since the early days of the pandemic, I think back in April of 2020. So if that means that there's more pessimism out there, that could mean that Americans pull back on spending. And we all know how this is a consumer-driven economy.
What percentage of radio employees are scared about losing their job, Rory?
100, every 24/7. But by the way, this survey found about 15.7% of individuals think their own jobs could be on the line in the year ahead.
Yeesh. All right, Rory. Fascinating stuff as always. Have a great day, my friend.
Thanks, Mark.
Back to the really good stuff there from Rory. Back to the, is it cool to be frugal? Again, this might be a generational thing. Are you seeing that, Vinny and Yoki, my two Gen Zers? Because from my perspective as an old dude, I see the young generation flexing like, oh, I'm at Coachella, blah, 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 and I'm having this fantastic sushi dinner, and I'm going to this concert. Is it becoming cool to save money and be frugal now for your generation?
I think so. I do understand your point too, though. But I think, well, I guess between me and my friends, we all understand like it's not easy.
You're strapped.
And
Yeah.
everybody's at the age, I'm 24. We don't know what we're doing, so we're trying to figure it out.
What about you, Gnocchi? You think it's cool to be frugal now?
I think so, but then I also have a side of my mind where I'm like, you only live once, so if
you work for Ericsson now too, so it's not like
Yeah,
you have to be
whoa.
frugal.
Yes, I do.
I know he pays well, but I'm going to speak for Deborah. When Deborah and I were your age, the struggle was real, right? And I think that going through those financial difficulties at a young age prepared us for, the real adult life later on when we actually started, having real jobs. Am I putting words in your mouth, Deborah?
No, you totally. I mean, who doesn't remember being 23 with 4 different jobs and just working all the time and trying to fit anything else just to make ends meet?
I remember when I was working here, I was part-time in traffic, and any other side hustle, promotions, marketing, whatever, I would work the Braves games, giving away tchotchkes. Anything I could. And that financial struggle, I think, prepared me for later in life. I saw, and I still have that. I still have that in my DNA. I saw a meme on social media, and I felt it so bad. And it was like, I can spend $1,000 in an hour, but I can also make $3.17 the last 2 weeks. There's time, like I'll go to a really nice dinner with Maya, and I don't, I'll pay for whatever it is. But there's also times where it's like, all right, I've got $7 in my checking account. I don't get paid in 8 days. I'm going to make this work. I still have that in my DNA. And I credit, being food insecure and not having money when I was your age. So, you have no choice. You have no choice but to be frugal.
For sure.
For sure. All right. Thanks, guys. Big story we're monitoring, obviously, is the deportation case. At 11:05, we're going to talk to legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum. But I want to go back to the White House. Elena Trine from CNN was just outside the White House a second ago as we are awaiting another court appearance and a court update today. What are the stakes in today's hearing, Elena?
Well, this has really become one of the most significant showdowns between the judiciary and the White House. Now, there is going to be a hearing today at 4 p.m. where the initial judge in this case, a Maryland judge, is going to need to decide next steps. But what is clear, Pamela, is that the White House had really been building to this line of defense for some time now, essentially arguing that that Maryland judge, a federal judge, I should say, was overstepping the bounds of her power. And also in some ways that the Supreme Court, which ruled in a 9-0 ruling that the Trump administration must facilitate Abrego Garcia's return to the United States. What we are now hearing, though, from the president himself directly, but also top officials, is one that they have no intention of trying to bring Abrego Garcia back to the U.S., but also that they believe that the courts should not have a say in the Trump administration's and directly President Donald Trump's foreign policy moves. Take a listen to how Attorney General Pam Bondi put it yesterday.
These district judges do not have the right to interfere with the executive branch's ability to conduct foreign affairs, meaning President Trump's ability to do business with foreign nations, and they can't do that. What they also said is just facilitate, meaning if he wanted a plane flight, we could give him a plane flight, but we cannot effectuate it, meaning making it happen, which is what the district court had originally ruled. It was a win.
So as you could hear there, Pamela, they're framing that Supreme Court ruling as a win, but what isn't clear is exactly what happens from here and whether or not the courts are going to be satisfied with the answer that this administration is providing for refusing to return him to the United States.
Elena Trine just moments ago for CNN at the White House. Again, we're going to monitor that court appearance, and legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum is going to join us live at 11:05 here on The Mark Arum Show. Coming up next, great news from Governor Kemp to Georgia taxpayers, and is Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport still the world's busiest? We'll let you know after we check traffic. We got construction all over the city, Ashley Frasca.
And we'll let you know where to dodge it as well. On the west side perimeter, things are backing up 285 south from I-20 because the barrels are out in the right lane past Cascade Road, and a travel advisory out of Lawrenceville because of that road work on 316 west at Sugarloaf Parkway. A right lane is blocked there. And I think I've got my eyes on a rollover crash, but it could be in a work zone as well. Veterans Memorial Highway westbound eastbound at Floyd Road, but nonetheless, the right lanes are blocked. Traffic brought to you by Rapid Radio's Instant Push-to-Talk walkie-talkies, offering national LTE coverage for a limited time. Go to rapidradios.com for 60% off and free shipping. Code RADIO for an extra 5% off. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
Get the WSB radio app.
This story is breaking right now.
Get notifications from your source for news.
If you have the WSB radio app, then you saw the breaking news.
Get the WSB radio app.
Don't miss a thing with the WSB app.
Download it from the App Store today.
Storm season is bearing down on us, and that means power outage season is here too. Dave Baker here for Brightbox Electrical. Being stuck in a dark, hot home as storms start to fire up is no fun. That's why my friends at Brightbox Electrical, a Coolray company, are now offering $500 off a Generac home standby generator, and if you purchase now, you'll receive a 2-year maintenance and monitoring plan for free. So don't be left in the dark or the heat. Visit brightboxelectrical.com to schedule your appointment.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Now's a great time to stock up on Del Monte canned vegetables. Select varieties are on sale for only $1 each with your card. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Guys, if you're having ED or performance issues and Viagra and Cialis haven't worked, you need to come see Choice Men's Health. Give us a call or visit us online at choicemenshealth.com. Get your love life back and choose Choice Men's Health.
Hi, this is Candace from Exovations, and have I got a tip for you. But today, instead of giving you a home remodeling tip, my tip is don't just take my word for it. For over 20 years, you've heard me on the radio sharing remodeling advice. But if you really want to know what sets Exovations apart, go read our reviews. At exovations.com, you'll find hundreds of real stories from real homeowners who have trusted us with their exterior remodeling projects. From decks, siding, windows, doors, paint, roofing, porticos, and so much more. You'll see words like amazing work, incredible experience from start to finish, and again, stress-free. That's not just what we say, it's what our customers say. So yes, I'm Candace from Exovations, but don't just listen to me. Listen to our reviews. At Exovations, we do projects on time, on budget, and without all that stress. Google Exovations or visit EXOVATIONS.com.
Hey, it's Shelley Winter here for my good friends at PalmettoSleep.com. Let's talk about a serious business, sleep apnea. I suffer from it, and whether you've been diagnosed with it or afraid you have it, I have the solution. Palmetto Sleep is here to give you your life back. They make it easy to get help for sleep apnea because living without a good night's sleep is simply no way to live. Palmetto Sleep offers a custom-fitted oral appliance that opens your airway so you naturally breathe the way nature intended. The best part is they offer virtual consultations and in-home sleep testing. No overnight stays at a sleep center. Plus, Palmetto Sleep has all the doctors that you will need. Most appointments are virtual, and it's all covered by your private medical insurance. Don't suffer from another sleepless night or daytime fatigue like I do. Visit PalmettoSleep.com now. Visit PalmettoSleep.com. That's PalmettoSleep.com.
It's still the greatest form of advertising, word of mouth. If we could bottle it and sell it, we'd be rich. But we can't. That's what keeps it honest. Hi, I'm Dan Watkins, owner of All Four Seasons. From garage doors to entry doors to windows, for every opening of your home, we've got you covered. Talk to your neighbors. Chances are we've worked on their home. They'll tell you all about their 5-star experience with All Four Seasons. When trust matters, trust us. All, the number 4, seasonsgarages.com.
I talk all the time about spring fixer-upper things to do around the house, but your car needs spring care too. Dave Baker here for Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Spring is a great time to have your brakes inspected, your wiper blades replaced, and your car's AC system tuned up because you know it's going to get hot, you know it's going to rain, and you know the knucklehead in front of you is going to jam on their brakes. Fortunately, Beaver Toyota of Cumming can tune up any make or model of car or truck. I wouldn't trust anyone else. See more at BeaverToyotaCumming.com. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming, the official truck of the Home Fix-It Show.
News is temporary, but your financial plan shouldn't be. I'm Wes Moss, and at Capital Investment Advisors, we're focused on helping retirees invest for income. This means building and managing a portfolio that delivers a steady stream of income, regardless of the scary headlines of the day. If you're ready to shift your focus from the headlines to your core pursuits in retirement, reach out to our team at yourwealth.com. That's YOUR wealth.com.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from my roofer, FGA Roofing. If your neighbor's designer roof has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing. And for a limited time, get $1,000 off your final quote if you mention you heard about it on the radio. Search FGA Roofing. That's FGA Roofing. And ask about 0% financing.
Whew. I just yacked. Something nasty. I feel way better, though. I think that's like the secret. Like, you gotta, once you're hungover, you just gotta puke.
Seth Rogen, and I believe that was Knocked Up. Happy birthday to Seth Rogen. Let's guess his age. Deborah, how old do you think Seth Rogen is now?
He's in his 40s, right? Because he was in Freaks and Geeks.
Yes, 43.
All right.
Yeah, 43. I if you can get him on the show, I would love it. I would love to talk to him.
I've had the Seth Rogen in on another show before. He's a very cool guy.
Yeah. So the fact about Seth Rogen, I question his parents. He quit school at like 14 to become a stand-up comedian. I think he was in Canada. His parents were like,
yeah,
okay,
he's Canadian.
Okay, go ahead and do it. Like, he just quit school at 14. And then he moved to L.A., and I heard him on Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee, and Seinfeld asked him, why did you stop being a stand-up comedian? He goes, I thought I wanted to be a stand-up comedian until I met people that actually really wanted to be a stand-up comedian. It's kind of like being a boxer. You really have to want it. Anyway, Seth Rogen, 43 years old today. All right, good news. Again, tax day for the rest of the country, not for us here in Metro Atlanta and in North Georgia. You got till May 1st to file, but good tax news coming from the governor's mansion and a tax cut. What can you tell us about that, Deborah?
Another tax cut. Governor Kemp's going to sign two bills today at 11:15. One calls for a special one-time refund. Single filers will get $250, single head of household $350, and joint filers will get $500. The governor's office says the refunds will total about $1 billion. The other bill will lower the state income rate to 5.19%.
All right, so I guess Maya and I are getting a $500 refund, courtesy of Governor Kemp. Governor, thank you for that. Was not expecting that. Another local story, Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson. I love calling it the world's busiest. Is it still the world's busiest?
Once again, Hartsfield-Jackson is the world's busiest airport. As it celebrates its 100th birthday, the airport saw 108 million passengers last year. That is up from 104 in 2023. Hartsfield-Jackson has been the world's busiest airport since 1998, except in 2020 during the COVID pandemic.
Interesting. So we have that moniker still. And other airports complain like, well, it's just because everyone stops and has transfers here, flight connections. It's not. I don't care. We have more people. It's still the world's busiest. I'm going to refer to it as the world's busiest. All right, Sabrina's up in 3 minutes with news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, going to hammer our top local stories. And what do you consider a perfect day? There's actually research on what humans consider a perfect day. We'll let you know what those details are next on The Mark Arum Show.
As Georgia's homegrown leader in business insurance, Builders partners with thousands of local businesses to safeguard workers and help them return to their lives after injuries. Explore reliable workers' compensation solutions at BLDRS.com. Builders, insurance built strong.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want an addition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
Men,
Trouble in the bedroom? Not anymore. Priority Men's Medical Center restores your love life in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE. Here's a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Have Viagra or Cialis let you down? Priority Men's Medical Center offers the most effective treatments that eliminate ED and PE, with men lasting longer than ever. 98% of patients see instant results on their first visit.
Priority Men's Medical Center's breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. Your consultation and first treatment are free. You'll see instant results in the office. Plus, qualified patients get their testosterone checked free. Call 404-885-8885. 404-885-8885. To restore your love life in just one visit, call now. 404-885-8885.
This is Window Nation, your source for affordable replacement windows at the highest quality. So if you've got old, drafty, sticking, or leaking windows, you need the experienced pros at Window Nation. You can pay a lot less and still get the premium windows you're dreaming of. Their custom windows are guaranteed to be a perfect fit, and they're backed by the best warranty in the industry. Go to getwindownation.com for your free estimate. And for a limited time, buy 4 windows, get 4 free, plus no interest for 2 years.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's news and talk.
It is 10:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by your Metro Atlanta Amco dealers. New legal action this morning concerning President Trump's tariffs. ABC's Rachel Scott has details.
This time it is a group of small businesses that are suing the Trump administration over these tariffs, saying the president does not have the power to impose them, calling his reasoning that this is a national emergency, a quote, figment of his imagination. Now, the White House is pushing back, insisting that it is a national emergency, saying that these tariffs do level the playing field for small businesses and for workers.
And China has reportedly ordered its airlines to halt deliveries of Boeing jets amid an escalating trade war between the world's 2 largest economies. Bloomberg reporting that Beijing has requested Chinese carriers also stop purchasing aircraft-related parts from U.S. companies. Your weather for today, partly cloudy, breezy, cooling down, afternoon highs around 68 to 72, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. It's going to be windy. Some of those winds could be gusting up to 30 miles an hour today, she says. A federal lawsuit challenging the Trump administration's decision to revoke an unknown number of international students' visas will soon have more plaintiffs here.
Our lawsuit is, and the intent of it is to put these students back in status and make the Trump administration follow the law.
That's Atlanta immigration attorney Charles Cuck. He tells WSB that some 40 students here in Georgia alone will be added to the suit today, and that number could go even higher. Ahead of a planned summer launch in the Atlanta market, Uber is opening a wait list today for riders wanting to request driverless Waymo vehicles.
The service area for the autonomous vehicles will be limited to 65 square miles of Atlanta initially, covering primarily downtown, midtown, and Buckhead. Some on the wait list may be invited to participate in test rides in advance of the summer launch. Waymo vehicles are already operating in Austin, Texas, where they now represent 20% of Uber's rides. Waymo's service will only be available through the Uber app in Atlanta. The rival service Lyft is partnering with the Toyota-backed startup May Mobility and hopes to offer that driverless option soon. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Wallet Hub is ranking the best airline, and they say Spirit Airlines comes out on top. It's rated the best overall, the most affordable and safest. Rounding out the top 5 are SkyWest, Atlanta-based Delta Airlines, JetBlue, and Southwest. Delta did rank as the most reliable airline with the lowest rate of cancellations, delays, mishandled luggage, and denied boardings. Wallet Hub analyzed 2024 flight data from the U.S. Department of Transportation to come up with these rankings. The FDA this morning is warning the public of counterfeit semaglutide, also known as Ozempic. The pharmaceutical company that makes the diabetes and weight loss drug said that several hundred units of a fake drug had apparently made its way into the U.S. drug supply chain. Authorities are advising users, sellers, and providers to verify the lot and serial numbers before dispensing those drugs. And this is the day that Georgia's Vidalia onions start being shipped out to grocery stores and restaurants. Georgia Agriculture Commissioner Tyler Harper says today is going to be a busy one.
Our Vidalia onion growers and farmers will be working to start putting them on trucks to get them to the grocery store shelves and restaurants.
And he says they'll be shipped across the globe. In all, there are about 10,000 acres of Vidalia onions that are being packed up and shipped out this year. Let's take a look at the markets. The Dow right now is up 85 at 40,611. NASDAQ is also in positive territory, and so is the S&P. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Ashley Frasca has a look at your roads.
Sounding a travel advisory out of Lawrenceville with construction in the right lane of Highway 316 headed west at Sugarloaf Parkway. You can use Duluth Highway as an alternate to that. Once you hit 85 south, you're still slow in traffic, but they just cleared a stall from the HOT lane before Pleasant Hill. And a travel advisory on the west side because of the road work on 285 south between Cascade and 166. They're knocking out 2 right lanes. Delays begin at I-20. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A cold front passing through today, so a mix of sun and clouds, breezy and cooler through the afternoon. Highs in the upper 60s, low 70s. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Lows tonight in the mid 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 71. Sunny skies on Thursday, highs in the mid 70s.
It is cloudy and 62 degrees right now in Milton and Tucker. Lilburn has 63 degrees. We'll have more news at 11 o'clock. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
When traffic
No
hits,
traffic getting through in either direction.
the Triple Team Traffic Center has you covered.
Even the bridge over 75 is being held.
Your source for Atlanta's traffic.
Out of Spaghetti Junction along 285 westbound and a crash on Peachtree Boulevard 141 southbound before 285.
Brought to you by the Cool Ray Lifetime Parts and Labor Warranty.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
If it's a homegrown criminal, I have no problem. Now, we're
President
studying
Trump
the laws
yesterday
right
at the
now.
White House talking about the deportation case and the future deportations on Abrego Garcia. We'll go in depth on that next on the Mark Arum Show.
Listen up, because women have long waited for the world to recognize the importance of our health.
Northside Hospital goes beyond "we hear you" to "we're out here with you," because women deserve more than open ears.
They deserve open doors, and 1 ounce of action is worth 1,000 words.
Northside is rolling up our sleeves and getting to work for you.
This is a house call. Heard. Learn more at northside.com/heard.
It's Diamond Month at D. Geller & Son Jewelers, and that means this month, buying diamonds comes with even more diamonds. All through the month of April, when you spend $9.95 or more, you'll receive a pair of gorgeous hand-matched diamond studs absolutely free. At $9.95, you get a quarter-carat pair of studs for free. $24.95, we'll give you half-carat studs. And at $99.95, you're going home with a full-carat pair of studs on us. All April long in Kennesaw, Sandy Springs, and online at dgeller.com.
How can your termite company claim your home's termite free by only walking around the outside? Mark Arum for Breda Pest Management. Termites, the most destructive pest of all. They literally eat your home. Only Breda will come inside and thoroughly inspect your entire home with infrared cameras, and Breda guarantees your termite protection and will lock in your rate for 10 years. BREDAPest.com.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Avoid the stress of preparing to sell your home. With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can skip the hassle of spring cleaning and sell your home for maximum value. Hi, this is Mark Spain, and our offers are the strongest in the industry. With a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can sell your home stress-free, make the most money, and move when you're ready. There are no showings, no open houses, and no stress. Trust the top real estate team in the U.S. and find out what your guaranteed offer would be. There's no obligation. Go to markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing.
That spot on the ceiling, it's only gonna get worse. Hey, it's Dave Baker from my experts at Finley Roofing, the roof guys. Finley now has 0% financing available, so it's even easier to get your roof replaced. FinleyRoofing.com. Roof.
11:37 on this Tuesday edition of the Mark Arum Show. Hope you're getting back into the swing of things post-spring break. Coming up in 30 minutes, legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum is going to join us live. We're going to update the very latest on the El Salvadorian deportation case. Again, the courts will be in action again today. Just a quick summation of what happened yesterday. This is Nancy Cortez, CBS News chief White House correspondent.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia was one of the 238 men the Trump administration flew to the notorious Secot prison, even though an immigration judge had ordered 5 years ago that Abrego Garcia not be deported. His family says he's a sheet metal worker with no criminal record. The administration claims he's an MS-13 gang member who deserves to stay in prison.
He was illegally in our country.
Last week, the Supreme Court instructed the government to facilitate Abrego Garcia's release from custody in El Salvador. But Trump's deputy chief of staff, Stephen Miller, made it clear Monday the White House does not plan to push for his release.
He's an illegal alien from El Salvador. Where was he sent? To El Salvador. Where does he belong? In El Salvador. He belongs.
He belongs. Sending someone home and sending them into a prison that they could remain in for
It is
life.
up to El Salvador how to handle the process for their own citizens.
Top officials in the administration say it doesn't matter if Abrego Garcia comes back, because if they did, they would just deport him again. Jessica Levinson of Loyola Law School sorts out the latest developments in this case.
We have a Supreme Court order. This case has gone back down to the district court. The district court has said, give me an update. I want to know what's happening in order for me to find out if you are, in fact, facilitating his return. The district court is also having a hearing tomorrow on the contempt order that was brought, saying that the federal government should be held in contempt for not complying with this order.
All right, so we're going to monitor the courts today and tomorrow. And again, legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum is going to join us live after the news at 11:05 on the story that is really taking up a lot of the news oxygen in the room. Anything happens after the show, the news team will update you here, of course, throughout the day on 95.5 WSB. All right, this is a fascinating question. Can you think of a perfect day in your life? Right, I'm thinking, when Maya and I got married, that's a perfect day, right? Birth of your kid, like that's a perfect day. Not family related kind of perfect day was, it was, I don't know what year it was, 2017 maybe. I got invited to, it was a perfect weekend. I got invited to a road renaming in New York City. They renamed the street after Phife Dawg from A Tribe Called Quest. Do you remember that, Deborah?
I do.
Yeah, and DJ Rasta Root, who is Fife's manager, invited me up to this road renaming. They renamed, I think it was Linden Boulevard, Phife Dawg Way, and I got VIP treatment. Got to meet all the surviving members of A Tribe Called Quest. It was such an unbelievable experience to be there and be part of that. And then in addition to that, I spent the weekend in New York and hung out with my old college friends, went out to this fantastic, it was just a perfect weekend. When I look at that weekend, it was absolute perfection. Top flight, great time, great friends, great memories. But I've never, aside from that and my wedding day, I've never thought about what makes a perfect day. Apparently, there's research that determines what we consider a perfect day.
Want the formula for a perfect day? Science has come up with it. People consider the best day ever being 6 hours with your family, 2 hours with your friends, 1.5 hours of extra socializing, 2 hours of exercise, 1 hour of eating and drinking, less than 6 hours of work, 1 hour of screen time, and a 15-minute commute.
All right, Deborah, I have some follow-up questions on that. First off, how much in a day of working out? That's the ideal day.
2 hours.
That's a 2
about
hour
right.
workout?
That's too much.
Yeah.
That is too
What? No, that's about right. 2 hours is too long.
Yes. Yeah. Give me
right.
15 minutes on Peloton. That's the perfect amount. 2 hours. All right. So I have a question about that. To me, it's perfect day varies by participant, I would imagine. 6 hours of family time seems excessive.
Well, if you're eating dinner together, maybe if you have something with your kids, if you play a game with them, maybe if you're watching a movie, that goes by really quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. I know to say, like, Maya, I love her with all my heart. She loves me. But I think that's, unless we're doing something, like, it's 6 hours of, like, she needs her alone time. When she gets off of work, I give her an hour to decompress. She hangs out with the dogs. I let her marinate on her work day, let her decompress. I don't know about 6 hours. That seems excessive. How many hours in this perfect day, by the way? How much sleep? Give me.
Okay, well, that wasn't listed on there.
I think my perfect day starts with 10 hours of sleep. That's a perfect day. 10 hours. Let me sleep in. Yeah. So my perfect day, 10 hours of sleep. Plenty of time with my wife. I don't know if 6 hours is enough. No workout time. Give me 2 hours with my hobby, 2 hours with my dog. To me, that's the perfect day.
Okay.
No working out.
Well, yeah, so this is 1 hour of eating and drinking. That's definitely not enough for you, right?
No. Especially if we're going to Golden Corral or something. I wonder if they time you out. If you go to Golden Corral, because they have two services, Deborah. I know you don't know this, but They have the lunch, and then they have the dinner. I wonder if you time it, if you go to the end of lunch and pay the lunch fare, and then they switch over to dinner, if they kick you out before they switch over to dinner, or you're just grandfathered in.
Is it that much different of a menu?
Well, right now, I'm not getting paid to say this. They have the butterfly shrimp and sirloin served at dinner only. So if you go in at like 3:45 and pay the lunch fare, and then at 4 o'clock they switch to dinner, you can get that butterfly shrimp and sirloin for the lunch price. I'm not trying to game the system. I'm just curious about what that is. Anyway, all right, thank you for that, Deborah. Perfect day. Maybe not. Maybe not. I know Sabrina updated this story, but this is crazy. New report says that late actor Gene Hackman's property was infested with rats.
Maintenance workers found the bodies of Hackman and his wife Betsy Arakawa in their Santa Fe home in February.
I think we just found one deceased person inside a house.
Hackman died of heart disease and severe Alzheimer's. Arakawa died of hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, which is contracted through exposure to rodent droppings. Now, a New Mexico Health Department report says dead and living rats and rodent feces were found in the couple's garages, cars, casitas, and sheds, but not in their primary residence. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
The microphone fell. That's horrific. Because we wondered, Deborah, when the wife was like, oh, she died because of this rodent disease. We're like, how did she get infested with rats? They got to call Breda Pest Management. Brady did a rodent follow-up at my house yesterday. Phenomenal stuff. Roaches are one thing, but rats, to be infested, and to have the wealth that the Hackmans had, I blame the kids in this. You got a dad that's 96 years old or whatever he was. You need to, be an active participant in their well-being. You can't let them have a rodent-infested property. That's just absolutely awful. Should you leave the lights on your house when you leave, or should you turn them off? I never really thought about this. I'll leave the TV on for the dogs and a light on, maybe, depending on if it's daylight savings time or not. But what do the experts say about leaving the lights on in the house or not, Deborah?
Do you turn the lights off when you're not in the room? It might be doing more harm than good. If you're using those old incandescent bulbs, the Edison bulbs, now those can be turned off when you leave the room. But if you're using the LEDs or the CFLs, turning those on and off too much can actually shorten their lives. The Department of Energy recommends leaving them on if you're out of the room for fewer than 15 minutes. Any longer, shut them off. Interesting.
All right. I always thought that was an urban myth that before the newfangled light bulbs, when I'm just talking about the old light bulbs, that it takes more energy to turn them back on than it does if you leave them on. I don't know if that's true or not. Have you ever heard that, Deborah, where it was like, don't turn the lights on or off because it takes more energy to turn them back on? I don't know if that was...
No, I don't remember that at all.
No? But I don't think I have any of the old-fashioned bulbs in my house anymore.
Can't buy them anymore.
Yeah. No, they're still there. I still see them in the aisles at Publix and everything, but... yeah, interesting. All right. Well, who did you say? Edison? Not Alexander Graham Bell, right?
Yeah, Edison.
All right. 140 years ago today, in one of the earliest recordings ever made, the man who would go on to invent the telephone, Alexander Graham Bell, recorded his voice on a wax and binder board disc. Alexander Graham Bell. Sounds like some of the callers we've had. That is really bad audio there. That is really bad. 140 years ago, though, one of the earliest recordings ever, that was Alexander Graham Bell, who, by the way, was a noted gardener. Did you know that, Ashley, that Alexander Graham Bell had one of the greatest, what do you call them, gardens in modern history?
You're going to tell me that, and then I can't book him for my show.
Yeah, he's gone. He's long gone. Let's check the roads around town. Are we still dealing with construction out there, Ashley?
Everywhere. Road work set up in the two right lanes on the west side perimeter. 285 south past Cascade Road has you on the brakes leaving I-20, the West Freeway, and still sounding a travel advisory because the road work's really tough in Lawrenceville. They're working in the right lane of Highway 316 westbound at Sugarloaf Parkway. They set that up before 9 o'clock. And then road work continues over in the Mapleton area, slowing you on Veterans Memorial 78 westbound at Floyd Road. I'm Ashley Frasca, 95.5 WSB.
It pays to have the WSB Radio app. Download it today and get ready for the Blitz.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz. 5 chances every weekday to win $1,000.
Well, what a blessing that is. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate that.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
From 95.5 WSB begins Monday, April 21st.
On 95.5 WSB. Download the WSB Radio app now.
We're all getting long in the tooth, friends. Am I right? What about your heating and cooling systems? Are they aging? Well, let Reliable Heating and Air protect your AC from breakdowns and your budget. Just $14.99 a month. Reliable Heating and Air, licensed, bonded, and insured. Amazing service. I can tell you firsthand, Reliable is the best. They're licensed, bonded, and insured. No deductibles, no claims or paperwork, no service fees, just amazing coverage for as low as $14.99 a month, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. So protect your aging heating and cooling system with the amazing folks at Reliable Heating and Air. Just $14.99 a month gives you amazing peace of mind. Get all the info and schedule a consultation online at reliableair.com. That's reliableair.com. Don't wait until your aging systems go kaput. Get your protection now at reliableair.com.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group, to discuss one of the biggest blind spots that people face when saving for retirement, and it's a head scratcher. Chris, how do so many people not know what they're invested in?
That's the biggest flaw that everybody runs into. They think they know what equities they have, they think they know what bonds they have, but they really don't know how those mutual funds or how those index funds are performing in conjunction with one another. So, I would liken this to a big pot of soup, and we're just throwing all the ingredients in the refrigerator in this thing. It's not very good. It's just a mishmash of stuff. And sometimes you like the way it tastes. Sometimes you don't. And when you don't know why. You don't know if you got too much chicken in there or too much vegetables in there or what's going on. And I ask every caller that comes in for an initial consultation, do you know how your portfolio is broken down? And they say, well, I've got, 20 or so options in my 401k, and I just picked 2 of them or 3 of them. I thought I needed some international. I thought I needed some U.S. equities. I thought I needed some bonds. And they're just guessing. So you have to absolutely know what you're invested in, and that's where we will run the 401k portfolio x-ray for you, because that'll break it down. If you're not proficient at investing and don't understand this world, we will walk you through it. Not knowing what you're invested in is a big hindrance to growing and protecting your money. We will run a portfolio x-ray for you and educate you on exactly what's in your portfolio.
Set up a time to get your complimentary portfolio x-ray today. Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858. That's 404-737-3858, or book online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163. 3546.
Believe me, warmer weather is coming, and now is the time to upgrade your deck or add to your outdoor living space. Dave Baker here. My friends at Ben Hill Renovations are experts at creating decks of all shapes and sizes. They've been doing it for over 60 years, and now is the perfect time to schedule a free at-home deck consultation at bhrenovations.com to get that new deck ready for warmer weather. Ben Hill Renovations, creating raving fans since 1964. bhrenovations.com.
Cancer upends your life. We're doing all we can to change that. At Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University, we're reimagining the care experience to ease the burden of cancer with experts in your cancer and the research, trials, and treatments you can only get here. All so you can focus on what matters most, the best chance of living a full life. Winship Cancer Institute of Emory University. Cancer care designed around you and your life. EmoryHealthcare.org/Winship.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into. And that's MediShare.
Maybe you've heard joining Medi-Share can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. Medi-Share works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network, so yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
If they wanted to return him, we would facilitate it, meaning provide a plane.
AG Pam Bondi talking about the curious case of Abrego Garcia. There's more court hearings scheduled today. Coming up after the news at 11:05, legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum is going to join us live. We'll pick his brain on that big deportation story. Still good news on Wall Street. Dow's up 100 now, 63. S&P and NASDAQ all up a little. There were big gains, though, in the European and Asian markets, so hopefully we'll get a late afternoon pop here on the Dow Jones Industrial in light of the new tariff information that was supplied by President Trump. We'll update the markets throughout the day on 95.5 WSB. Speaking of our trade war with China, I know a lot of you folks are extremely not fans of electric vehicles. I know there's some folks that will never drive a gasoline car again. But some big news in the electric vehicle industry, Deborah.
Move over, Tesla. The Chinese EV BYD is now the best-selling electric car. They had a 73% jump and made over $100 billion. Tesla right behind at $97 billion. Last week, the company announced it was rolling out a super-fast EV charging system that says it's nearly as quick as a fill-up at the pumps. About 25% of the company's sales were in markets outside of Greater China. The automaker has rapidly been expanding its ports, though it has yet to sell here in the U.S.
Deborah, BYD is the name of that?
BYD.
I've never heard of that company before.
Well, they're not here in the States, so that's probably why we're not familiar with it.
Well, and they're not going to be. 140% tariffs, BYD. Tesla, by the way, the stock's up 4% today. 1.7% at $256. So I will never be in the financial situation that Elon Musk is, obviously. But if I were, and so much of his wealth is tied up in Tesla stock, I couldn't stop looking at the ticker. Like, I would be constantly going, all right, my wealth just went up $500 million. Oh, my wealth just went down $500 million. That would drive me. I mean, I would like to have that problem, but to have so much invested in one stock. My grandmother, she didn't have a lot of stock, but the stock she had was Johnson & Johnson. And Nana would check the paper every day. This is before the internet, before anything. And literally, not like a ton of stock, but for her, maybe she had like 100 shares of Johnson & Johnson. And that was the first thing she'd do when she'd get the paper. Because back in the day, Vinny, you couldn't turn on CNBC and get the stock ticker. You couldn't go online to Market Watch. You had to wait the next day to see the newspaper. And she'd get the newspaper delivered, and she'd go to the stock page, and she'd be like, oh, Johnson & Johnson's up a quarter. It's up a quarter. And back then, it wasn't in dollar signs. It was like a quarter. I don't know. It was like up a quarter, up a half, up a full point, up 3/4. Do you remember that, Deborah? Before
I do.
Yeah.
Or you'd have to look in the paper. I do. I was too young to understand it then. I just knew it was up or down.
Yeah, I just knew that if Johnson & Johnson was down a quarter point, my grandmother Nana was gonna have a bad day. If it was up a quarter point, she was like, "Oh, I'm living the dream, living the dream." Fond reminiscence of the way things used to be. All right, Sabrina's got your news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, the big story, the deportation case heads to the courts again. What the Supreme Court said, what the government's arguing, the curious case of Abrego Garcia. CBS News legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum is going to join us live next on the Mark Arum Show. Then next half hour, more amazing prize pack to give away. Yacht Rock Review, tickets to their concert at Ameris Bank Amphitheater, and a private showing here at the WSB Radio Live Lounge. All next hour on the Mark Arum Show.
It's Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I've got something important to talk to you about, your 401k. If you have changed jobs, there are two very important considerations. You don't want to leave your 401k behind, and you don't want to roll it over into your new company plan without consulting Trajan Wealth first. 401ks will often have limited investments or age-based options. Since companies have to make choices to suit all employees, they may not be suited to you, which could cost you fees and money. When you roll over your 401k into an IRA, you not only keep your money growing tax deferred, but you also gain access to a world of investment options specifically designed for you. Trajan Wealth and our fiduciary advisors have helped thousands, and we can do the same for you. Call 404-390-4000. That's 404-390-4000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Storm season officially here, friends, and it wreaks havoc on your house and your roof. It's Mark Aram here. If you truly want peace of mind about your roof, and for many years to come, ask Dr. Roof about their lifetime warranty. Dr. Roof's warranty means they have your roof covered for the lifetime of your roof, and if anything comes up, Dr. Roof will take care of it. You never have to worry about a thing. They stand behind it since they've been in business for over 35 years. Now that is peace of mind. All the info online at drroof.com.
Coming up from the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, a Delta classical concert featuring an all-Italian program of Respighi, Paganini, May 1st and 3rd at Symphony Hall. Details at aso.org.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hey, it's Scott Slade from iRoofer, FGA Roofing. If your home's exterior could use an updated look, or maybe one of your neighbor's designer roofs has caught your eye, search FGA Roofing for the latest in designer architectural shingles. Ask about 0% financing. That's FGA Roofing.
News, weather,
traffic. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Hi there, good morning. It is 11 o'clock. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by Rocco's European Garage. A plan to improve traffic safety goes before the Sandy Springs City Council tonight.
Over the last year, a study group has reviewed data to identify areas of greatest need for upgrades and traffic calming measures.
To see where we could really make a difference on minimizing crash dangers.
The city's Kristen Westcott says there have been over 27,000 crashes in the city over the last 5 years. Area resident Vladimir Slavoski tells Channel 2 Action News, you don't have to look hard to find improvement opportunities on Roswell Road.
Even where there is sidewalk, it's broken old concrete with no curb protection, no separation between the road and where people are walking.
Public input precedes the presentation of the plan to the council at tonight's 6 o'clock meeting. Graham Carroll, 95.5 WSB.
Thank you, Graham. Partly cloudy today, breezy, a cool down with afternoon highs right there around 70, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. She says some of those winds could be gusting up to 30 miles an hour this afternoon. A federal judge has blocked President Trump's plan to revoke the legal status of hundreds of thousands of migrants who came to the United States legally under the Biden administration. The judge arguing deporting people without a case-by-case justification, quote, undermines the rule of law. Legal reporter Katrina Kaufman has more on what this all means.
What this means is there is a temporary reprieve for these individuals who came into the United States under a Biden-era program. It's a temporary stay, but it means for now they will not have to self-deport out of the country. They could be assessed on an individualized case-by-case basis.
And more students are expected to be added to a federal lawsuit challenging the Trump administration's revoking of student visas, and many here in Georgia.
It's not clear precisely how many international students here in Georgia have been affected by the Trump administration's decision to revoke their visas, but Atlanta immigration attorney Charles Cook's lawsuit seeks a simple resolution.
We're asking the judge to restore the status quo, put them back to where they were, and require immigration to follow the law.
Cook says he will put forward an amended filing today that will include another 40 students at Georgia's colleges and universities. A federal judge will hear the case on Thursday morning. Jonathan O'Brien, 95.5 WSB.
Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg is in a D.C. courtroom today in a blockbuster antitrust trial to defend his social media company. The federal government alleges that Facebook, the parent company of Facebook, bought up competing apps to create a monopoly. Correspondent Joe Ling Kent has more.
Meta's attorney argued that Meta is not a monopoly and cited Instagram and WhatsApp as having grown substantially under Meta's ownership.
One of the things that I'm optimistic about with President Trump is I think he just wants America to win.
Zuckerberg has been publicly and privately lobbying the Trump administration to drop the case.
Now, the trial could force the tech giant to break off Instagram and WhatsApp, startups that it bought for more than a decade ago that have since grown into social media powerhouses. Researchers want to see if livers from gene-edited pigs could treat people with sudden liver failure. Michael Wallace has more on that.
The pig producer eGenesis says the FDA has okayed a clinical trial in up to 20 severely ill patients. These would not be liver transplants. The pig organs would be temporarily attached outside the patient's bodies and filter their blood so their own livers could rest. 35,000 people in the U.S. are hospitalized each year with sudden liver failure. Many don't qualify for a liver transplant or can't get a match in time.
All right, let's take a look at your money now. The markets, the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P are all in positive territory. Time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. We say good morning to Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Sabrina. Jammed up on the west side outer loop, 285 southbound. You slow right at I-20, maybe just south of there, getting down to this double right lane construction zone before Highway 166, exit 5. Heads up for that. Just found a new trouble spot, 285 northbound, the outer loop at I-20 into DeKalb County, exit 46. Stall looks partially in the left lane up against that narrow left shoulder there, so heads up for that. And the right lane construction continues out of Lawrenceville on 316 westbound, passing Sugarloaf Parkway. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
I'm WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. A mix of sun and clouds today, breezy and cooler as a cold front moves through. Highs in the upper 60s, low 70s, lows tonight in the mid 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 71. Sunny skies on Thursday, highs in the mid 70s.
63 degrees right now in Alpharetta, 65 in Fayetteville. Lithia Springs has 63 degrees. We'll have more news at 11:30. Breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
No, I want this town to be near you.
11:05 on this fast-moving News Day Tuesday. Welcome back, friends. Mark Arum and crew with you till noon. Coming up in exactly 30 minutes, Deborah Green is going to give away another amazing prize pack centered around Yacht Rock Review. A pair of tickets to see their concert at Ameris Bank Amphitheater and a pair of tickets to see their private performance here in the WSB Radio Live Lounge. I'll be there hosting. We'll do a Q&A. One of the greatest prizes we've ever given away. Your next chance to win coming up after the news at 11:30. More tariff news here. We're going to monitor the impact on the markets, but continuing our story that has been really in the news cycle for the last couple of weeks now. The curious case of Abrego Garcia, the deportee in El Salvador, joining us live, covering the story for CBS Radio News. Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum joining us on the show. Thane, good morning as always, my friend.
Hey, Marky. Good hearing your voice.
Likewise. All right, so this is obviously a huge story, and we had the update yesterday with President Trump and the president of El Salvador. Is the Trump administration defying the Supreme Court by not facilitating Garcia's return?
Well, the problem here, Mark, is that the Supreme Court didn't define what facilitate means. You know, if you really wanted him back, the Supreme Court should have said, we demand that this man should receive the full panoply of constitutional protections, even though he's not an American citizen, even though he's a citizen of El Salvador, even though he came to this country illegally. And we maintain he has gang affiliations. He denies it, but we maintain otherwise. But the Supreme Court should have said, we don't care about that stuff. We don't do this to people, period, citizens or non-citizens, and bring him back. Facilitate, to me, sounds like if he comes back, I guess you'll let him in, right? He won't be illegal anymore. Because I don't know what that means. At first, the word was expedite that the other judge used. Then the Supreme Court changed the word to facilitate. Facilitate says you'll do what you can do on your end. But we recognize, the Supreme Court also said, Mark, we get it. We understand that the president has prerogatives when it comes to foreign policy. He's got a job to do on foreign relations and international affairs. And that we do not mean this decision to in any way impose obligations on him in his foreign policy role. And so that's why it's a murky decision, because on the one hand it says facilitate, on the other hand it's saying we understand that this is not really the role of courts. It's really foreign policy. And here we have the other one, Mark. You ready for this?
Yeah.
As you might have remembered, yesterday the president of El Salvador looked into the camera of American broadcasting networks and said, I'm not sending him back. He's an El Salvadorian citizen. He's one of ours. Who the hell are you to demand? Who the hell is the Supreme Court to demand of me, the president of El Salvador, that I have to release one of my people to you? Who do you Americans think you are?
See, I was under the assumption that he was Venezuelan because the other migrants that were deported were Venezuelan, but he turns out to be. So that is a wrinkle in that. Back to the Supreme Court, were they intentionally vague with that word choice in there to give both? I mean, they don't mince words. They use specific words for specific rulings.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think. That's why I said before, if Sonia Sotomayor was really writing it, or Ketanji Brown Jackson, or Elena Kagan, and if they had the majority votes, they would be much more insistent, I guess, that this is defiance of a lower court order that he not be removed. Remember, there was a court order from years ago that said that he not be sent to El Salvador. So that's what the State Department is copping to. They're saying, we understand we made a mistake because there was a prior judicial order that said no matter what happens to this guy, he can't be sent to El Salvador. And you know why he can't? For the reasons that you picked up. He's not Venezuelan.
Yeah.
And he has a history there, a bad history. And he's worried about what will happen to him if he goes back there. So a federal judge, I don't think it was an Article 3 judge, but an immigration law judge, no, it must have been a federal judge, said, he cannot be sent back to El Salvador. So therefore, the fact that they sent him back constitutes a mistake. But they still say he's still here illegally, and he still has gang affiliations. We don't care what you say. He should go with all those other Venezuelans. He goes with the rest of them. The only difference is the wrinkle that you pointed out, which is he is from El Salvador. And what would it be like if we were trying to demand of another country to send back a citizen of that other country? He's a citizen of El Salvador.
Exactly.
I think the Supreme Court was stuck and didn't know what to do, and they came up with an intermediate solution that has no real traction.
Does it matter that the DOJ admitted that they goofed on this and they deported him erroneously? Does that matter at the end of the day?
No, because in the end of the day, right, it's a foreign policy matter. In the end of the day, President Trump is going to say the following. I got on the phone with the president of El Salvador, and I cut some deals with him. And one of the deals was on his end, he would make his prisons available to our illegal immigrants, and I pay him. And we cut that deal. And I have to be able to have the freedom to negotiate deals with other countries. And I can't have district judges interfering with my deals. Yeah, it was a mistake. He should have not have been sent out. But now that he's gone, he's gone. What do you want me to go? Do you want Donald Trump's going to say, do you want us to go to war with El Salvador to bring back an illegal immigrant who we say committed crimes in the United States as a member of a gang? Are you saying that, Sonia Sotomayor, that we should go to war to bring him back? That's what eventually you will hear them say that. And you'll say, hey, they said that last week. Because that's what is, if you play this game of chess out, isn't that what would be the ultimate? The guy from the president of El Salvador already said, I am not sending him anywhere.
Yeah, not going to happen. But the fact that he's actually an El Salvadorian resident citizen, I think changes the whole dynamic of it. Final question for you, Thane. This grabbed some headlines yesterday. The president floated the notion of sending American citizens to El Salvador prisons. Is that legal? Would that be a constitutional question? And will that wind up, do you think, if this goes forward in front of the Supreme Court?
Yeah, that isn't going to happen. The only way this can happen, to my mind, again, Americans, we're fudging the American citizenship. It's like the Columbia graduate student. He's not a citizen. He may have legal residence. He's not a citizen until citizens have rights, and they're rights that are superior to people that have visas or green cards. So we keep forgetting this. Citizenship is citizenship, and President Trump knows this. Now, one last thing: if Congress passed a law that said, if you commit a crime over X, murder in the first degree, of a level of heinousness, we allow the State Department to strip you of your citizenship and send you to another country. If Congress, then the president is hanging on to something. But I don't see how he can unilaterally deny someone their citizenship rights and say he's a dangerous person and this country will take him. We will never release him from prison anyway, so let's send them away.
Legal analyst Thane Rosenbaum jumping on the big stories for us as always. Thane, appreciate your insight, my friend.
Anytime, buddy. Thank you, Mark.
We'll continue to monitor the situation. Again, there are going to be some more court appearances there, and we'll have updates throughout the day on 95.5 WSB. Moving on now, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said Republicans looking at all options to help pay for President Trump's campaign promises on tax cuts. Joining us live covering the story for Bloomberg News, it's Enda Curran. Enda, good morning. Thanks for your time.
Good morning, indeed. Thank you for having me.
I mean, this might be on the fourth page of headlines today, but kind of important, right? Because that was the big campaign promise by President Trump, were these big tax cuts. Where do we stand now? Where's that money going to come from?
Well, we had comments from the Treasury Secretary making a couple of points clear, actually. In a Bloomberg television interview yesterday, he made it clear that, the broad trade negotiations are on track and that he expects some agreements over the coming weeks and months. Now, remember, the trade negotiations are all about tariffs, and tariffs are an important factor in raising revenue for the government, which is all part of funding those tax measures. So the Treasury Secretary is making clear that that's on track, which is a key part of his fiscal policy. And then the other big point made in terms of fiscal policy and funding those tax cuts is that the Treasury Secretary pushed back on suggestions that the rest of the world is pulling out of U.S. Treasuries, that they don't want to buy U.S. bonds and fund the government anymore. He said that's not the case. It's more down to speculative type players cutting their positions rather than those longer term investors. So, those kind of comments are really meant to inject confidence into the administration's policy, inject confidence into what they're trying to do, and the Treasury Secretary made it clear that they remain on track on these key points.
And what about the story that it was the Chinese government that was selling the U.S. Treasuries to try to deflate the market in retaliation for the tariffs? Is that really what happened?
It's always a real talking point because China, of course, is one of the biggest investors of U.S. bonds, one of the biggest funders of the government. Nobody can say for sure. Obviously, that's a closely held matter for the Chinese government, just as it is for other governments. But those who follow the flows closely, those who watch the market closely, make the point that ultimately it would be self-defeating for any country to go out and deliberately sell off their treasury holdings in response to the U.S. tariffs, because that would be a fire sale, and ultimately you're losing money on your own assets. So there's a view that it's not necessarily in China's interest. That's not saying they haven't, of course. There's certainly a lot of speculation going around in terms of who is cutting their holdings and why. But I think right now, the bigger focus is perhaps on market players just cutting their speculative positions rather than a wholesale withdrawal by government, so to speak.
Edna Curran from Bloomberg News joining us live on the Mark Arum Show. I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around this. I know that President Trump promised tax cuts, but I also know that the goal is to bring down the national debt. If you look at what we have to pay as far as interest on the national debt, it's crazy. It is threatening to dip into our payments for Medicare. And it's such a big sword of Damocles hanging over the United States is our debt repayment. And I understand, the cuts with DOGE and we're trying to get government spending. Why not take that savings and that money that will be earned from tariffs and pay down the debt instead of giving tax cuts? It would seem to me like, hey, just on a personal level, like if I have this influx of cash and I've got major credit card debt, let me pay down my credit cards first and foremost, because the interest is killing me. Why isn't the administration taking that approach?
Well, this is a big unknown. Lots of question marks around the trajectory for U.S. fiscal policy, Mark. Like you're making the point, there have been warnings for years that the government is living beyond its means, borrowing too much and spending too much on all sides of the political aisle, by the way. You've had credit ratings firms both downgrading and warning the U.S. for years. And now we're at this point where the current administration wants to push ahead with far-ranging tax cuts while leaning heavily on tariffs to raise revenue. And there are plenty of objective observers who say the two don't add up. That ultimately these tax cuts are going to drive the deficit and make the deficit even bigger. Now, the administration and the White House makes it clear that they are doing what they're doing to generate activity among businesses, to get consumer spending again, and ultimately it will lead to a new age of growth and investment in the economy. That's the hopeful take. But to your point, there are plenty of people questioning about what trajectory U.S. fiscal policy is actually on.
Yeah, I'm just personally, I would pay down the debt first. Final question for you related to the tax brackets. Apparently, there's the Republicans are weighing the creation of a new tax bracket for those earning $1 million or more. What's the end game there?
Well, I think, look, all of these options are being talked about. I think there's lots of policy ideas being put up in the air simply because all the Republicans are trying to make the numbers to add up to get this one-time bill through the House, through Congress for the president. I think that's the key point. All options are on the table to try and make these numbers ultimately add up.
And great stuff, great insight. Edna Kern is from Bloomberg News. Appreciate your time. Have a great day, my friend.
Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it.
There you go. We will update the markets when we come back. But first, we got big construction delays on that old west side perimeter. Live with the latest. Here's Alex Williams.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Yeah, they're working in two right lanes. 285 southbound, the outer loop approaching Highway 166. Exit number 5, that's Langford Parkway. You're jammed up back toward Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. You can always make your way over toward I-20 eastbound and head down the connector south as an alternate, or just stick with those brake lights because once you get past Langford Parkway, it improves greatly. On the south side, heading up toward Hateville near the International Terminal of the airport, just had a stall moved off to the right, was in multiple center lanes, 75 northbound up around CW Grant Parkway, and a left lane crash in a cab, 285 northbound, the outer loop at I-20, exit 46. Traffic brought to you by Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag. The Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is the best deal in fast food for a lot of reasons, some of which include a JBC, 4-piece nugs, junior fries, and a small soft drink for the best deal of all time. Gotta be Wendy's. U.S. price and participation may vary. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
Hey, Taxman got you down?
How about a $1,000 pickup?
Win $1,000. 5 different keywords. 5 chances every weekday.
I just won $1,000 on WSB.
The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
Beginning Monday, April 21st.
Download the WSB app. Rules and info at WSBradio.com/cash.
I'm here with Chris Hoffman, the founder of Hoffman Financial Group and host of Money Unleashed. Chris, with all the things we're reading, seeing, and living through these days, from rate cuts, election season, and now a new administration, now seems like a great time to make sure we have that comprehensive plan in place. You know, the one that covers all our financial bases.
There are occasions throughout the year where I feel like it's critical for people to engage their financial lives and get the information that they deserve from a financial advisory team. And this is one of those times, to be quite frank. So we ask that you call us if you have a minimum of $500,000 in your full portfolio. But we're going to do away with that minimum so that those folks can have an equal opportunity to understand what's in their portfolio as well. Now, you have to have some money, right? I can't help you to build your wealth at work, right? But I sure can help, I believe, with your 401k, IRA management. There's probably 2 or 3 things that'll surprise you that you may want to take action on. So the next 10 people that call in, we'll work up either a portfolio x-ray, or if you feel like you need a full retirement plan, go to unleashyourmoney.com, click on portfolio x-ray, or click on full retirement plan. We think you'll be impressed enough, and we want you to become a client. There's no question about it. We believe that we are a very competent fiduciary advisory team, and we want to offer that to our listeners. Let Hoffman Financial Group actually show you how we perform, and I believe we perform at the pinnacle of this industry.
Call the Hoffman Financial Group at 404-737-3858, 404-737-3858, or online at unleashyourmoney.com. Investment advisory services offered through Brookstone Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Hoffman Financial Group Incorporated, Georgia Insurance License number 163546.
If you've been in a motorcycle accident, move swiftly to protect your rights. It's Eric Von Hessler, and I recommend Steel Horse Law, motorcycle injury lawyers who ride. They're 100% local, the only firm that's a major part of the North Georgia motorcycle community. At your next local bike night, ride, or charity event, stop by their booth and say hello. Steel Horse Law can help you get back on your feet, medical bills paid, back to work, and your case resolved. Request a free Rider's Advantage card at steelhorselaw.com. HomeOutlet.com.
Now open at 54 Bullsboro Drive, Home Outlet Noonan. Break up with your big box store and discover a better way to tackle home improvement. Employee-owned Home Outlet delivers the guaranteed lowest prices on a wide selection of quality in-stock kitchens, baths, floors, and more. Take advantage of our free services, including expert kitchen planning and accurate estimates for baths, floors, doors, and windows. Shop in-store or online at HomeOutlet.com.
Home Outlet is your home store.
Is your old AC unit ready for another sweltering Atlanta summer? Probably not. Hey, good news. Mark Aaron back from my friends at Reliable. Great new deal going on right now, guys. Any size AC, just $69.99 a month, 0 down, low monthly payments, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you $500. Any AC, just $69.99 a month. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the schedule service button or call or text 770-594-9969.
Need inspiration? Shop Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. Our low prices add up to big savings, plus over $600 in digital coupons each week, and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
Right now, Kroger brand bone-in hickory smoked spiral ham is only $1.99 a pound with your card and additional $25 purchase. Limit 2. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Hey folks, it's Shelley Winter here. You know, sometimes they make fun of me around the office because I doze off at my desk while doing show prep. Well, you know why that happened? It's because of a lack of sleep. I have sleep apnea. So if you snore or have sleep apnea also, you're not living life to the fullest. So listen up. I know you're tired, but in all seriousness, this is important. My friends over at Palmetto Sleep are changing lives with a custom-fit oral appliance that stops your snoring and treats sleep apnea. I'm not talking about something you buy out of a supermarket. This is a custom-made for your mouth and covered by your private medical insurance. What I love most is that they do everything from the diagnosis to the delivery of the oral appliance and everything in between. They even provide a take-home sleep study and virtual consults. If you're ready for a great night's sleep, you're ready for Palmetto Sleep. Go to palmettosleep.com. That's palmettosleep.com right now. Don't suffer from another sleepless night. palmettosleep.com.
11:24 on the Mark Arum Show. Still good news on Wall Street. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all up a smidge, but all in the green, which is good because they're reacting to new possible tariffs from President Trump after the news at 11:35. We'll go back to the White House there. I saw this on Facebook yesterday. It made me laugh as a former New Englander. I bet you can relate to it as well, Deborah Green. This is a stand-up comedian, Justin McKinney, talking about growing up and living in New England.
This is what people that don't live in New England don't understand. If we have a long, brutal winter, that costs all of us more money, whether you're heating your home, the plow guy, gas for the snowblower. That's why people that don't live up here don't understand. Like, how come people in New England are always watching the weather all the time? Why? Because that's the stock market for poor people. Want to know if we're making money or we're losing money today? You know why we like 70 degrees? Because it's free. We're not running the heat. We're not running the AC. We're breaking even today.
I never thought about that. Why my parents were so freaked out when it was so cold because the heating bill would go up. Did you have the similar experience in Wisconsin?
Oh, absolutely. Yep. And it, to the point where, like, you know, it's like, don't keep the door open too long. You're letting all the heat out.
There you go. So I related to Southers. The guy said 70's perfect, right? I don't need the heat. I don't need the cool. So that's what we should be focused here in Atlanta. It's Sunday, 70 degrees all the time. All right, Sabrina's standing by with news, weather, and traffic. When we come back, new tariff news. We'll go back to the White House, and we'll update our top local stories. It's the Mark Arum Show on 95.5 WSB. Oh, I forgot. When we come back from the news, the prize pack du jour, the amazing prize pack. We're going to be giving away a pair of tickets to see Yacht Rock Review at Ameris Bank Amphitheater and a pair of tickets to see Yacht Rock Review here live, intimate little concert in the WSB Live Lounge. So your chance to win those amazing tickets coming up next after news, weather, and traffic on 95.5 WSB.
Signs of a wet basement, condensation, wet floors and walls, musty smells, mold, rot. Got them? Then you need to call AquaGuard Foundation Solutions. They'll create a plan to keep your basement dry. Visit aquaguard.net and set up a free inspection today.
AquaGuard. At Ameris Bank, we're invested in the success of your business.
Our local bankers are ready to help you improve your cash flow, optimize your operating accounts, and access financing when you need it. From treasury services and digital banking to loans and lines of credit, we offer tailored solutions to help your business thrive. At Ameris Bank, we're with you. Visit amerisbank.com/withyourbusiness or walk into one of our branches today to get started. Ameris Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All loans subject to credit approval.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. When garage doors break, they usually don't break all at once. They don't just up and die. They die slowly. Garage doors complain a bit before they crap out, squeaking and sticking and shaking and grinding. They go down part way and then stop and go back up for no reason. But they hardly ever just end up dead with no symptoms and no long goodbye. If you ignored the signs, that dead door is on you. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our 19-point seasonal maintenance check makes sure everything's healthy. Oil the chain, check the rollers, realign the tracks, talk to you about how things are going, and look into any symptoms that might have you worried. Catch problems early, and your garage door should be around to play with the grandkids and talk about the old days when all this was just farmland.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
WSB Atlanta, WSBB FM, and HD1 Doraville. 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
It's the active season here in the ATL. Are you going to be active or inactive because of chronic joint pain? Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my pals at QC Kinetics. I want you to know something. The medical pros at QC Kinetics right here in Atlanta are on the case and focused to finally get you the relief you need. With QC Kinetics, the science solid. They give you your life back without surgery, without drugs, and without any downtime. Get out and be active this summer. Golfing, swimming, tennis. Heck, pickleball seems to be picking up speed. Get out there and be active. Don't let your chronic joint pain hold you back. Curious if you'd be a candidate for these treatments? No problem. Consultation totally free, and they're happy to take a look and see if they can help you finally get relief. Call now and find out how easy it is to get back to enjoying life without chronic joint pain. Now, the best time to get started. Call QC Kinetics now, 770-285-8026. That's 770-285-8026 for QC Kinetics.
Live from the Superior Plumbing Studios.
News,
weather,
traffic.
95.5 WSB.
Atlanta's News and Talk.
It is 11:30. Good morning. I'm Sabrina Cupid. This news sponsored by the Next Generation Xfinity 10G network. This is new this half hour. If you're looking for work or looking for a new job, the Cobb County Civic Center is the place you want to be today. The Cobb County Job Fair being held at the Cobb Civic Center until 2 o'clock this afternoon. A diverse group of private businesses and government agencies are on hand to take your resume and discuss some job possibilities. Among the companies there, Life University, T-Mobile, Wellstar, Kennesaw State University, Cobb County Police and Schools also there at that job fair. Again, it is running until 2 o'clock this afternoon. Your weather for today, partly cloudy, breezy, going to be cooling down just a little bit. Afternoon highs around 70. Some of the winds, though, could be gusting up to 30 miles an hour today, says WSB meteorologist Christina Edwards. A federal lawsuit challenging the Trump administration's decision to revoke an unknown number of international student visas will soon have more plaintiffs.
Our lawsuit is, and the intent of it is to put these students back in status and make the Trump administration follow the law.
And that is Atlanta Immigration Attorney Charles Cuck. He tells WSB some 40 Georgia students alone will be added to that suit today, and that number could go even higher. The FDA sending out a warning to the public about counterfeit Ozempic. The pharmaceutical company that makes the diabetes and weight loss drugs said that several hundred units of a fake drug had apparently made their way into the U.S. drug supply chain. Authorities are advising users, sellers, and providers to verify the lot and serial numbers before dispensing those drugs. A Metro Atlanta man hopes to become the first person from Georgia over the age of 60 to reach the top of the world's tallest mountain. Retired Navy Lieutenant Commander Brian O'Malley starts his journey this week.
The median age of summiting Mount Everest is about 33 years old or so. So guys half my age.
He spent months getting ready and getting his body prepared, even wearing an oxygen-limiting mask on a daily basis. He also hopes to raise funds for the Tunnel to Towers Foundation as part of the climb. You can find a link to that fundraiser on our website. We're working to put that up for you now, WSBradio.com. In-flight Wi-Fi on American Airlines will be free starting next year. America Airlines decided to make the service free starting in January after JetBlue, Delta, and most recently United Airlines did the same. The complimentary Wi-Fi service sponsored by AT&T will be available for members of American Airlines loyalty program. Bloomberg reporting that China's government has ordered its airlines to stop accepting deliveries of Boeing jets as the trade war between the U.S. and Beijing heats up. CBS News has not yet confirmed that report, they say, but Boeing stock is taking a hit as a result. Money Watch correspondent Kelly O'Grady is following the latest.
I wouldn't say that this is a major escalation. I mean, this is targeting one company if this report does turn out to be true. But if you think about what Boeing means to the U.S., I mean, it's an iconic American company. It's also the biggest exporter for the U.S., so it's not nothing when it comes to our economy.
All right, let's take a look at the markets. They're doing pretty well today, considering the Dow's up 120 at 40,644. So the Dow's up slightly. The S&P is also in positive territory, and NASDAQ is up almost 0.5% here at 1133. It's time now for live team coverage of traffic and weather. Alex Williams has a look at your roads.
Busy on 285, new travel advisory on the west side outer loop in Smyrna Vinings, rollover crash. 285 southbound, the outer loop, Paces Ferry Road, exit 18. Only a right lane is open. You're already quickly slowing back toward the Sandy Springs area. This is also going to impact I-75 south out of Marietta. Think about making your way south on I-75 as your alternate there. In DeKalb County, crash left lane, 285 northbound, the outer loop at I-20, exit 46, slowing you back around Flat Shoals. And again, over on that west side, forgot about this, the construction in two right lanes, 285 southbound, the outer loop approaching Highway 166, Langford Parkway. Brake lights start there south of Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
This is WSB meteorologist Christina Upwards. A cold front passing through today, so a mix of sun and clouds, breezy and cooler through the afternoon. Highs in the upper 60s, low 70s. Wind gusts as high as 30 miles per hour. Lows tonight in the mid 40s. Tomorrow, sunshine, high 71. Sunny skies on Thursday, highs in the mid 70s.
64 degrees right now in Marietta, at 65 in College Park. Dunwoody, you have 63 degrees. We'll have more news at noon, breaking news when it happens. I'm Sabrina Cupid, 95.5 WSB.
If it's happening on the streets of Atlanta.
Cobb County Medical Examiner's Office identifies 57 sets of cremains.
If it's happening on the roads leading to Atlanta.
Massive project at 285 and Georgia 400 has been a big improvement.
We've got it covered.
Atlanta jurors convict a former Customs and Border Protection officer.
Your 24/7 news source.
Covering the stories that impact you.
Tune in throughout the day to stay up to date.
95.5 WSB, Atlanta's breaking news station.
Coming up next, we'll go to the White House, get the latest on the possibility of more tariffs, and Deborah's got a legendary prize pack to give away. That's next on the Mark Arum Show.
City of Hope, a place where seemingly impossible blood cancers become treatable, curable. With more than 19,000 bone marrow transplants performed, we're the largest and most successful program in the U.S., making major breakthroughs in treating leukemia, lymphoma, and rare blood cancers, personalizing a treatment plan right down to your DNA. Now the experts striving to make the impossible a reality are closer to home. Learn more at cityofhope.org.
At CertaPro Painters, we know that a happy place comes in many colors, like ones that inspire a sense of wonder, or a new flavor that makes life just a little bit sweeter, or one to celebrate those moments that lift you to new heights, at home or at work. We'll make your happy place your own. CertaPro Painters. That's painting happy. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Contractor license and registration information is available at CertaPro.com.
Atlanta DIY landlords, listen up. If you're exhausted from managing your rental properties all by yourself, my friends at Renters Warehouse Atlanta offering a 90-day test drive. Hire Renters Warehouse to manage your rental property for a low flat monthly fee as low as $115. If you're not satisfied at any time in the first 3 months, you can fire them. Get your management fees back. What do you get for that low flat monthly fee? A dedicated property management team, maintenance coordination, move in and move out property condition reports, advanced tenant screening with a 9-month tenant warranty, professional photography and videography, lease renewal processing and negotiations, online rent collection, monthly owner cash flow statements, and more. Renters Warehouse, so confident you'll love their service, they want to audition for your business. Choice is yours. Keep DIYing or see how Renters Warehouse can make your life easier. Start your 90-day test drive today. Go to rwatlanta.com or call 404-662-2322, 404-662-2322.
Guys, if you're having ED or performance issues and Viagra and Cialis haven't worked, you need to come see Choice Men's Health. Give us a call or visit us online at choicemenshealth.com. Get your love life back and choose Choice Men's Health.
This is Window Nation, your source for affordable replacement windows at the highest quality. So if your old windows have you boiling in the summer and freezing in the winter, you need the pros at Window Nation with installation precision and experience that are second to none. Their custom windows are guaranteed to be a perfect fit, and they're backed by the best warranty in the industry. Go to getwindownation.com for your free estimate. And for a limited time, buy 4 windows, get 4 free, plus no interest for 2 years.
He packed in the animals 2 by 2, ox, camel, and a kangaroo.
11:38 on this Tuesday edition of the Mark Arum Show. By the way, 65 degrees in Midtown, which means it's free weather. You don't need the heat. You don't need the AC. Free weather. We'll see if that stands. Christina Edwards will update her full 5-day forecast coming up in the new news right before the Eric Erickson show. Before we get to the White House and an update on possible tariffs, another spectacular prize pack to give away. My friend Deborah gives you the details.
A pair of tickets to go see Yacht Rock Review perform right here in the WSB Live Lounge. Very exclusive performance. That's going to be next Monday, April 21st. And then you get another pair of tickets to go check out Yacht Rock Review on Saturday, April 26th, and that is at Ameris Bank Amphitheater.
Insane. And we're going to give away these again tomorrow, right? 2 tomorrow. And then
that's right.
Yeah. All right. We're going to make Nyoki work for it. Jackie Robinson Day, 40-second caller, 40 deuce, 404-872-0750. 40-second caller to Lil Nyoki at 404-872-0750 wins that amazing Yacht Rock Review prize pack courtesy of the Mark Arum Show and 95.5 WSB. Very good luck, everyone. It's phenomenal. I can't wait to see you there in the WSB Live Lounge. All right, let's get up to the White House. Correspondent from ABC, Karen Travers. Karen, good morning. The ping-pong battle of tariffs continues. President Trump floating yesterday the idea of some new tariffs, possibly. What do we know this morning?
Yeah, so the president yesterday had indicated more tariffs are coming. He had over the weekend, we knew, and we talked about this, that there was this temporary exemption for smartphones, computers, and some electronics so that they were not going to be hit with that very steep 145% tariff that had been put on products coming in from China. The White House has not said how long that exemption is going to last. It is likely going to be at least a couple weeks because they are looking to do tariffs now on semiconductors. And the president said that those tariffs on electronics will now, those products will just be shifted under the semiconductor category because he's been very insistent that he's not giving anybody exemptions or exceptions. Yesterday he said, I'm a very flexible person. I don't change my mind. And he, I think, has not liked the framing of this, of giving a reprieve to any companies or easing up on the tariffs on China. But the other thing we learned last night is that the administration is laying the groundwork to cite national security as a reason to put tariffs on imported pharmaceuticals, and that's going to be their reason to put the tariffs on semiconductors, the computer chips. And this could have a big impact on Americans and the prices they pay for things, especially on the pharmaceuticals, because ingredients for many medicines are made overseas and then brought here to this country. And experts are saying that that could raise the prices on things like ibuprofen, for example. But the president, of course, is looking to try to shift manufacturing here, make those things here, and then you won't be hit with the tariff.
How does national security become a factor in those two markets?
Supply chains is what they like to say, especially when it comes to the semiconductors, you know, first of like trying to rely on China for things like that go into cars, computers, and all of our electronics. But it's really a big issue on supply chains that if we were ever in a significant standoff with countries, you don't want to be reliant on a country that you're at odds with for the things that you need the most. And so that's likely what they're going to point to. We don't have the details of what this review is going to look like. They posted a notice that this is something that they are starting right now, sort of an investigation into how this would work and what they would classify these tariffs as under a national security umbrella but it's just the beginning of the process at this point.
Karen Travers from ABC joining us on the Mark Arum Show. Karen, obviously, I'm not in the West Wing. I'm not behind closed doors. But just from what I've witnessed over the last few weeks when it comes to tariffs, it seems like the administration's calling a lot of audibles, right? This entire playbook wasn't scripted from day one that, and then on this day, we'll do tariffs on semiconductors and pharmaceuticals. It seems like it's a very free-flowing policy.
It certainly feels like it. And if they were to say that it's not, well, there doesn't seem to be a pattern to it at this point. The president yesterday, the line was quite very Trumpy, saying, I'm a very flexible person, but I don't change my mind, but I'm flexible. And he said he doesn't want to hurt anybody, but at the same time, that this is a significant policy for him and that this ultimately will pay off in the long run. And, that's been another part of this, too, is that the president has said that this will pay off even if there are, quote, transition costs, as he put it last week, acknowledging that Americans are likely to see an impact in the near term. But in terms of the overall kind of day-by-day planning, it certainly feels like there have been reactionary moves. Right now, they're negotiating with dozens and dozens of countries. They say it's over 100 at this point. But the really serious negotiations are with about 10 to 12 countries, and the White House feels like they could get potential trade deals with those. But you and I have talked about this. Things don't come about very quickly. Trade deals take months, if not years. And the fact that they're trying to do it in 90 days while those big tariffs are on pause is really quite complex.
Yeah, the timeline is going to be truncated for sure. Big news at the White House yesterday was the visit from the president of El Salvador. Anything we should be looking for at the White House today?
I think there will be more questions for the president. It doesn't look like on the schedule we're going to get a chance to ask him things, but the president yesterday still insisting about the issue with the man from Maryland who is now currently being held in a prison in El Salvador. He had said over the weekend that the Supreme Court said, he has to bring him back, that he would abide by that. He's now walked that back, saying that there's nothing he can do, that this is up to El Salvador. The president of El Salvador had said yesterday that he couldn't return him to the United States. He called the question preposterous. So there's a lot of, not us who should be doing this question right now, and we're going to see how that plays out today.
Karen Travers, ABC News. Karen, as always, appreciate your time.
Have a great day. Thanks.
Wall Street reacting positively thus far in the possibility of new tariffs. Dow's up 67, Nasdaq's up 45. So just a little up, but it is still green across the board. Markets monitored throughout the day here. The trading day on 95.5 WSB. Updating a couple of big international stories. Russia says Ukrainian forces hit inside its territory with dozens of drones overnight, killing at least one person. The attack follows a weekend Russian missile and bomb assault, killing 35 people in the Ukrainian city of Sumy. More from ABC News 4 correspondent Thomas Sophie Burridge. Western officials say Russia, on average, launches about 100 drones a night into Ukraine.
Russian officials say that Ukraine launched 115 drones, principally at the Kursk region. That's the region that Ukrainian forces over the summer took a large part of that territory. In recent weeks, the Russians, with North Korean help, have driven Ukrainian forces largely out of that region. But Ukraine, I think, is still trying to take the war into Russia to demonstrate to the Russian people that this war is not just about a conflict in Ukraine, that it will have implications for Russia, for its economy and for its people.
And that weekend attack, apparently, that killed 35 people, what I didn't know yesterday, but I found out today, that occurred, Deborah, on Palm Sunday. And apparently it hit a lot of folks that were apparently going to church on Palm Sunday. So that's why it was like, how dare Russia do this? And we heard from President Trump say it was probably a mistake. They didn't mean to target those people at church on Palm Sunday, but 35 died yesterday. One more international story. Over the weekend, the U.S. and Iran agreed to meet again this coming weekend. Meeting is to broker a deal to curb Iran's nuclear weapons program. Yesterday on the show, we had CBS News Middle East reporter Courtney Keeley on that story. Today, she has a follow-up.
Iran's pretty close to making nuclear weapons, like days or weeks, in terms of 6 of them, in terms of if they enrich the uranium just a little bit more, they could have that. But they also have a peaceful nuclear program. So Iran needs an economic relief, and the U.S. needs for them to stop making a nuclear bomb.
It's crazy how many plates are spinning right now on the international front for the Trump administration, right? The Russia-Ukraine war. the Israeli-Hamas war, and now negotiations ongoing between the United States and Iran. That doesn't have anything to do with the deportation story with El Salvador and the tariffs, but just, the global impact of what's going on right now cannot be discounted. Hey, congrats to maybe my neighbor, Tony in Decatur, won the latest prize pack. He won a pair of tickets to see Yacht Rock Review at Ameris Bank Amphitheater on the 26th of April, and a pair of tickets for the exclusive live lounge performance next Monday. That's April the 21st here at WSB Radio. I will be hosting that, doing a Q&A. I can't believe we're giving that away. What a great prize. We're going to give 2 of those prize packs away again tomorrow and then Thursday and Friday, right, Deborah? We've got them for the rest of the week. Is that?
Yep, all week long. Yep.
And then you can't even catch your break with the amazing prizes because the bonus blitz starts again next week. Another chance for you to win $5,000 a day here on 95.5 WSB. Do we have any winners or losers on the roads right now? Let's go to Atlanta's only 24-hour traffic center, Alex Williams.
Not winning if you're trying to get past Truist Park on I-285. Rollover crash, 285 southbound, the outer loop, Paces Ferry Road, exit 18. Right now, they're holding all lanes. Hero Fire Department on scene. They got to try to upright this car that's up against the median wall. You're stacked up back to New Northside Powers Ferry. 75 south slow from Delk Road. Stick with 75 south into town as an alternate. 285 southbound, the outer loop south of there near the airport at Highway 166 Langford Parkway. Still got construction there in 2 right lanes. And the earlier crash, 285 northbound, the outer loop into Cab at I-20 exit 46 is cleared. All lanes back open there. Alex Williams, 95.5 WSB.
On air,
online,
on the app,
where you get your news
is where you'll win.
Are you serious? Download the WSB radio app now and maybe win $1,000.
OMG! The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz.
5 words, 5 times a day, every weekday.
Oh my God, you just made my day!
Just enter the word at WSBradio.com or on the WSB radio app. The WSB 5K a day bonus blitz
begins Monday, April 21st on 95.5 WSB.
Founded by hardworking Georgians in 1992, Builders provides tailored insurance solutions to safeguard workers and business owners from costly accidents. Explore reliable workers' compensation and general liability products at BLDRS.com. Builders, insurance built strong.
This is Scott Slade. Let's talk about how to improve your chances of living a longer, healthier life. For me, it's preventive medicine. My doctor saw one funky number in my lab work that eventually led to a diagnosis early enough so I still had options. You just got to have a medical professional looking at you every so often, especially when we're talking about heart disease, the nation's #1 killer. And that's where virtual imaging comes in. They've got the best CT imaging in the Southeast with 98% accuracy and low radiation, like flying in an airplane. They can detect calcium levels in your arteries and most cancers at the earliest stage. And virtual imaging can scan your brain to see if you're in danger of a tumor, stroke, or even dementia. So don't put this off, especially with this offer for virtual imaging. For a limited time, they're offering you and your spouse a free heart scan. Yes, free with a few minimum requirements. I've done it. Call 404-678-SCAN. That's 404-678-SCAN. Or make an appointment by visiting their website at virtualimagingatl.com.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. When garage doors break, they usually don't break all at once. They don't just up and die. They die slowly. Garage doors complain a bit before they crap out, squeaking and sticking and shaking and grinding. They go down part way and then stop and go back up for no reason. But they hardly ever just end up dead with no symptoms and no long goodbye. If you ignored the signs, that dead door is on you. At Mo Better Garage, we make that way mo better. Our 19-point seasonal maintenance check makes sure everything's healthy. Oil the chain, check the rollers, realign the tracks, talk to you about how things are going, and look into any symptoms that might have you worried. Catch problems early, and your garage doors should be around to play with the grandkids. And talk about the old days, when all this was just farmland.
Mo Better Garage, we make it way more better.
MoBetterGarage.com.
I know we just started spring, but already Maya and I have turned on the AC in our house a couple of times. Hey, it's Mark Aaron back from my pals at Reliable Heating and Air. We are going to use our AC a lot this summer. I'm sure you will as well. Great new deal from my friends at Reliable. Check this out, folks. Get any size air conditioning, any size AC, just $69.99 a month. Zero down payment, low monthly payments, unbeatable lifetime warranty, and next day installation guaranteed, or they pay you you $500. Yes, any size AC, just $69.99 a month, zero down, low monthly payments. Don't go into another sweltering summer with your old AC unit. Get a new one from my friends at Reliable. Book an appointment for a convenient time right on their website at reliableair.com and click on the Schedule Service button or call or text 770-594-9969, 770-594-9969.
Bugs bugging you? Better call Breda Pest Management. They handle bugs and critters. And Breda is proud to sponsor Scott Slade's Georgia every Thursday on Atlanta's Morning News.
Breda, no need to be afraid of bugs.
Okay, so you love yard sales, but through the years, you've had to pass on a porch swing and an adorable ceramic Dalmatian because your car wasn't big enough. You needed a Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming. Dave Baker here. With your lifestyle, the Toyota Tundra is the perfect vehicle for you. It has plenty of room to haul stuff for work or play, plus it comes with the Beaver benefits, lifetime powertrain warranty, free oil changes, premium roadside assistance, and more. The Toyota Tundra from Beaver Toyota of Cumming. It's the official truck of the Home Fix-It Show. See more at beavertoyotacumming.com.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Let's see, if something costs less, a lot less, but people are actually happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save you or your family up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true. People are just happier with it. They love being part of something that reflects and promotes their values and what they believe in. MediShare works, too. It's been around for 30 years now, and members have shared more than $7 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care, whether you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan that you're happy with. Here you go. You can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. It's 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
I'm going to bed before either of you come up with another clever idea to get us killed. Or worse, expelled.
Happy 35th birthday, Hermione. Emma Watson turns 35 today. I have never seen a single Harry Potter movie from front to back, but I've seen them all because Maya is obsessed with them and they're always on in the house. So I know all of them. I just have never seen them front to back. I've just seen every single one of them. Earlier on the show, we told you that Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson retains its title as the world's busiest airport. This is interesting. The TSA now saying there are certain items that they will now let you carry on.
Travelers rejoice. TSA is updating their rules on restricted items that can be in your carry-on. New technology, these CT and 3D scanners are going to allow agents to better see inside your bag and assess any potential threats. This means items like liquid medications, live fish, eggs, baby formula, children's drinks, any toys that are filled with water are going to be allowed in your carry-on. And more items like shampoo, perfume, sunscreen, body wash may be added to the unrestricted items list in the future. Right now, Atlanta, JFK, and LAX are the only airports to test out this new technology. So remember, if you're flying to a smaller airport, you're going to have to stick to that 3.4 ounce rule for the liquids.
All right. I mean, that's good, right? Because a lot of times, like shaving cream, you know, whatever, right? Stuff, cologne, stuff that. But live fish? Who's putting live fish in their carry-ons?
Apparently, people carry live fish when they're going through the TSA.
That's not good. Like, you put them in like a plastic baggie, they're not going to survive a flight. Let alone with the pressure and the oh my God! Don't.
Can you take the whole bowl, like a goldfish bowl?
Maybe, but that's weird. That you can. Well, you can now for the one person listening. That's like, finally, I can take my goldfish to LA now. Good news.
I feel like I'd rather take my shampoo rather than a live fish.
Yeah, I agree. Shampoo, to any of those liquids that otherwise you have to pack in your bag. All right, so good news from the TSA. All right, let's get a fact of the day.
Longoria's fact of the day.
All right, this is for Longoria, the Lego man, right? The world's largest Lego model, a life-size Airbus A380 airplane, took to the skies on this day, April 15, 2015. The replica was built using 7 million Lego bricks, measured over 9 meters long and 8 meters wide.
Like a Lego-made plane actually went?
Yeah.
Was that a Howard Hughes invention, Deborah?
Maybe. I never knew that story.
Yeah, I mean, he made the wooden airplane, so why not a Lego airplane? All right, good job, Billy, filling in for Longoria today on the other side of the takeout window, which takes us to stars of the show.
And now, are you guys ready for the Mark Aram Star of the
Deborah, I
Show?
need you to make an executive decision. So, Vinny Drip did amazing stuff, as you know, before the show. Got us audio, got us stories, but twice he gave me the wrong out time and made me step dance and tap dance for like an extra minute to get to the break.
We played it off great.
I played it off great. So, Deborah, you're the executive producer. Does Vinny get a star of the show for the amazing work he did before the show, or is it taken away because he made me tap dance twice?
I think you got to take it away today.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
Vinny.
Vinny, you were the only star yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
Man, I'm getting a star of the show because I had to tap dance unexpectedly twice today. Hopefully you didn't notice. Nyoki did a great job on the phones. He gets a star of the show. Tech correspondent Mike Dubusky, Thane Rosenbaum, Enda Curran from Bloomberg News, Karen Travers at the White House, Rory O'Neill, and, of course, Deborah Green. Social medias are active. Give me a follow at Mark Arum, MarkArum. Don't forget, tomorrow we'll update our top local stories, the latest on the markets and the tariffs, and we're going to give you more tickets to see Yacht Rock Review, both at Amerisbank Amphitheater and that private showing here in the WSB Radio Live Lounge. 2 chances to win again tomorrow, 9 a.m. hour and the 11 a.m. hour. All right, stay safe.